and welcome to our latest edition of West Coast XC. I'm your host, Ken Martinez. If you're watching this, so you're watching it on YouTube, there's a subscribe button on the top. If you wouldn't mind clicking on it, that really helps us. And if you're listening on Apple Podcast or Spotify, please give us a follow. Thank you so much. In this week's episode, we preview all three West Coast states as they all are having their state meets this weekend. Washington is having their state meet in two locations. One in Yakima, Washington, on the east side of the state for the smaller schools, and then on the west side of the state in Tacoma for the larger schools. And those are going from Thursday through Saturday at two different locations. Oregon is this weekend, also Thursday through Saturday, but all 6 divisions will be at Hayward Field, with the smaller schools going Thursday evening, Friday evening, and Thursday day, Friday evening, and then the larger schools will go Friday morning and then Saturday in the afternoon at Hayward Field. I mentioned Buchanan High School, which is Veterans Stadium, fantastic place to have a track meet too. California will have their state meet on Friday and Saturday. It's a comprehensive one division state meet where somebody from a small school will race the kids from the largest schools. It's just one 400, one 110 hurdles, all that kind of stuff. So it's a great meet that'll be this weekend. And we'll talk to our experts from each state and preview each state in a few minutes. I would like to recap this last weekend of our photography that we did. I used to coach in what's called the Metro League. It's the west part of the Portland area, and I coached there for 30 years. And so I have a deep affection for that league. And so I went there on Wednesday to take pictures of the 3,000 meter final. Athletes at the league meet go directly to the state meet if they finish in the top 2, or can also make it with an auto qualifying time too. Alyssa Schaefer of Sunset High School ran 10:03.98 to win the 3,000 and qualify for state. Jackson Welsh of Jesuit ran 8:18.97 and also qualified for state. His teammates Liam Donnelly and Kellen Williams also made it. Liam Donnelly made it by time. Then on Friday, I was not able to go to the Metro League meet because I had to go on an airplane ride to Southern California for some track meets. So my daughter Anna, my youngest daughter, went to the meet and took pictures, which is great. So you'll see her photos on our website. She used to run in the Metro League for Aloha High School when she was a high school athlete. Now she's an adult, but she loves going to track meets, and I really appreciate all her help. And so these are her photos she took. Naomi Cesar of Sunset won the 1,500 in 4:37.64. And Jackson Welsh won again. He ran 3:52.84, which is just off the meet record run a few years earlier by another Jesuit athlete at 3:52.83. So he just missed it. But his teammates, again, like Wednesday, Liam Donnelly and Kellen Williams both qualified. Kellen Williams made it by time. In the 800, Naomi Cesar won her second race. She ran 2:09.81. That's a good double and good times. And then Brady Lukasiewicz of Jesuit ran 1:57.71 to win his race and qualify for the state meet. So we'll see those athletes in Eugene next week. Meanwhile, we landed safely in Los Angeles on Saturday. I went to Moore Park High School for the CIF's Southern Section Masters meet, qualifies into the state meet. Last week's episode, we talked to Ken Reeves about athletes to watch, and one of them was Braylon Combe of Santiago Caruana. She won the 1,600 for the second straight year at CIF Masters at 4:43.03. Maximo Zavaleta of MLK ran 4:06.30. And if you see the picture, Aiden Antonio of Woodbridge ran 4:06.54, very close. They both qualify. In the 800 meters, Braylon Combe of Santiago of Corona ran her second race and ran 2:06.04 to win. Alden Morales of J. Sarah ran 1:52.94. If you go to our photo gallery of the Masters meet, you might notice that during the 800, we have like photos from different angles because my wife showed up and took pictures of the 800 because after the 800, I had to get in my car and go to UCLA for the LA Track Fest. So the next photos, 800 and the 4x8 and the 3200, were taken by my wife, Diane. She took pictures of the 4x8 also, where Santiago girls won it in 9:04.39. Braylon Combe did not run in that race. It doesn't make her ineligible for the state meet, but she was resting for that, and they still won it. Maricosta ran 7:41.30 for the boys and will qualify for the state meet. In the girls 3,200, Summer Wilson of Irvine, who has been running of late, didn't run in the first half of the season, is getting into really great racing shape. She won the 3,200 in a pretty good margin at 10:14.45. And Aiden Antonio had an incredible double where he finished second, the 1,600, and then won the 3,200 in a personal best of 8:55.30. So then I was at UCLA because the Sound Running LA Track Fest was happening, and I had to navigate traffic and get there on time for the photographer meeting and then be there at the beginning of the meet. The first distance race was the 800, and Roisin Willis of New Balance ran 1:58.08, which is the fastest outdoor time in the world so far. And Claudia Kazmierska of Nike is right in that picture too. She ran 1:58.18. Brandon Miller of Brooks Beast ran 1:44.26. If you look at that photo carefully, you'll see a bunch of amazing athletes that are right on his heels. You'll see, Josh Kerr, and you'll look there and you will see Donovan Brazier and all kinds of really amazing athletes that push the pace. In the steeplechase, Elise Thorner of New Balance ran 9:07.39. That's a convincing win. She won by 15 seconds. I will want to mention too that Emma Coburn made her return to the steeplechase after some injuries and being a mother, and so a new mother. So she has been out, but she looked pretty good, and she in her first steeplechase in a couple of years. Parker Stokes of the Brooks Beast ran 8:23.88. He was in the middle of the pack the whole race and then came on at the end. It was a really great finish. In the women's 1,500, Riley Chamberlain, who's running unattached this year, she runs for BYU but looks to be redshirting this season, ran 4:04.59. And Vincent Chiotti of Under Armour Dark Sky ran 3:33.41. In that photo, you can see Parker Wolf on one side and Nathan Green on the other side of him. And it was a very close race. And then in the 5,000, Parker Valby of New Balance ran her personal best of 14:49.41. Very fast time. She has not run a track meet, I believe, since the Olympics in Paris. We're talking almost 2 years ago, maybe 21 months, 22 months ago. She did run the cross-country USATF championship back in December, but hadn't touched the track in a really long time. Looked awesome. Ran a really fast time. Haptum Samuel of New Mexico ran 12:57.22. He broke his own NCAA record for the 5,000. He went under 13 minutes. He looked really great. He's going to be competing in Fayetteville, Arkansas at the West Regional this weekend to get to the NCAA championships in Eugene. So that is all the photos that we took last weekend. Thanks to Anna for filling in for me, my daughter Anna, at the Metro League meet on Friday. Thanks to Diane for spelling me at the end of the CIF Southern section. And if you look at the gallery of the Track Fest, LA Track Fest by Sound Running, some of the photos are also taken by Diane. She got to the meet a little bit later in the evening too. And I took a picture of Diane and my oldest daughter, Allison, who was in town this weekend to visit my parents. So it's a family affair. Again, if you can help us by subscribing to YouTube, that would be so great. It really supports us. It's a volunteer operation. We're just pitching in and helping each other. Todd Takubo volunteers in California. Russell Moore will be taking pictures at the Washington State meet. He volunteers. I don't have any income to pay anybody. So if you could subscribe on YouTube, that'd be so helpful. I really appreciate it. And we are now going to go to our next segment. We're going to go Washington and then down to Oregon and then to California. So we're going to talk to Matt Ellis of Bellman Prep first about the Washington State meet. Hey, we're happy to have Coach Matt Ellis on today from Bellman Prep. Hey, Matt.
Hey Ken, how you doing?
Great. I'm super excited about the Washington State meet. I did some prepping
Yeah,
for this, and there's just going to be some great races, not just in Mount Tahoma High School in Tacoma, but also out at Eisenhower High School for the smaller schools. Is it the 1B, 2B, 1A, right?
correct. Yeah, yeah.
Woo!
Six
Okay.
classifications split into two sites.
Two sites. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, let's get started. We're going to go
yeah.
with in the order of the events that they're run as finals. The Thursday is the 1600. The
Right,
girls start first. Who do
correct.
you see in the girls 1600 that are going to be stars this weekend?
Well, if we start over, east of the mountains first in Yakima, Reed Atwood's posted the fastest time, but um, again, you get again with the small schools, sometimes you get these athletes together. So Logan Ignacio,
Hmm.
who's on paper 10 seconds behind her, but she ran tough in cross country. She's of course the District One champ. And then Haley Schweppe of Montesano, who won the Shelton Invite most recently. So they could light things up in the 1600 and give Reed a run for her money. So that should be pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah, that'll
You
be
know,
really interesting.
yeah. And then again, in Mount Tahoma, yeah, the in terms of 1600, the girls will start it off, and it's I think going to be well. I think the 1600s are just going to build in kind of excitement.
Yeah.
I think on paper again, Kirsten Ludeman of Seaholm, probably your hot odds-on favorite. But again, can't overlook Sloan Dixon of Linden, and of course Klein's Ludeman's teammate from
Hmm.
Seaholm, um, and um, and then of course the 3A girls. You got Jane Wyckoff coming over from East of Mountains to Mount Spokane. Of course, we know about Sophia Rodriguez. But then there's Elise Core, who actually won that District 2 race against Sophia last weekend.
Okay.
Um, and and then, of course, what we don't have in that race is Cassie Armstrong.
When I saw that, I was nervous that she wasn't racing at all, but then I found her later in the meet.
Yes, yes.
And
And so,
also her teammate too, Sienna. Is that her name? Sienna Johnson.
yeah, or,
I
yes.
She ran the 1600 last year also and wasn't listed, and I was like, uh-oh, but she's fine. They're both
Yep,
racing.
she's fine.
We'll talk about them later, but I was surprised not to see Cassie there.
Yeah, yeah. And then on the 4A side, of course, you got of course Wilhelms of East Lake, and then Miss Latham West of Bonnie Lake. And I think that could just be an epic duel. Latham is so tough.
Right.
And Wilhelms again cross country champ, so he's got some strength, but also has some really good speed. 800 speed. Um, and then, again, I think, wow, she's nine. There are nine girls coming in, sub
Hmm.
five already.
Yeah.
And so, there's, and I know Kaylee Orcutt of West Valley just ran a super fast 800. We'll talk about
Yeah.
her a little later. She's actually leading in the 4A list right now. And so, someone like that, she can hang around. She
Hmm.
could make things really interesting in the last 400 meters. So, um, could be a really, I mean, they're all going to be exciting races there. So,
Yeah, yeah, you have a little bit of like pride involved here. Sloan Dixon of Linden won the 2A
mhm.
last year.
Right.
Probably like to defend it. Sophia Rodriguez won it last year.
Hmm.
Has some pride there, wants to defend it, but they've got their hands full. There's some really good girls in 2A, 3A. And on the 4A side, we saw that race about a month ago or earlier
Yeah,
this month
we did.
with Aubrey from East Lake and Latham from Bonnie Lake. They ran against each other at the South Sound Invitational. So this is
Yeah.
a
And
rematch.
Audrey got the better of Latham that day. So,
Yeah.
see if the tables are turned or what happens tomorrow night. So, or afternoon, I guess. So,
Let's talk about the boys.
oh, yeah.
I want to talk about. I'll let you talk about the 2A boys. It's incredible. Go ahead and tell us what happened in the 2A boys.
Well, the 2A boys, we it's really, oh, we were talking a little before we got on air, and it's really too bad that we're not going to see Dylan roll with mixing it up because he ran 4:03 by himself last weekend.
Yeah.
And so on, again, on paper, the next guy is Lorenz of Bainbridge in 4:12, and then Hammond of Ellensburg in 4:15. So it looks like it'll be, well, it'll probably be a decision of how fast Dylan wants to run in that 1600.
Mhm.
And I mean, talk about a double. He ran 4:03 and 8:49 last weekend.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
tough. Let me
you
ask
know,
you a Washington question because I don't know everything about Washington.
uh,
Last year I watched Owen Powell set the record in the 1600 in the 3A.
mm-hmm.
So he has the 3A record, right? Is there like just could Dylan try? I mean, obviously he'll get the 2A record if he goes like the same effort that he did last
Right.
week. Is there like state record or state meet? Is there like a state meet record of all the different
Yes,
divisions?
they're both.
Okay.
And so actually, I'd have to pull out the old annual
Mhm.
that John Sells used to do every year, and I think Ryan Zakula has taken over.
Mhm.
That was like, every year it comes out is a book. Of course, you can
Oregon
find
did
a
the
lot of
same
stuff,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, online. But well, again, the big conversation, and it made Let's Run, is the all time state record, which is held by Jerry Lindgren. Um,
In the mile.
oh, not in the mile. Oh
We'll
yeah,
get
the
to, well, yeah, we'll
mile.
talk about that later. But I'm talking
Oh
about
yeah.
like he runs 403. He does it again. I'm sure that's a 2A record.
Oh yeah,
What
that would be a 4A record, I believe, or pretty close. 3A record, I think, is still held by Isaac Yorks of Lakes.
I really feel like Owen got it last year.
Oh well, you're right. What did Owen run last
He
year?
ran like 403. He did this
Okay,
crazy
yeah,
thing
then
where
he
he came
just
by
got
it
it. So
like at
yeah,
210 and then just ran
yeah,
like
yeah.
oh, he's not
You're
going to go for
right.
the record. And he did. He
Yeah,
just kind of like so talented.
yeah. So I think York, and I believe York's had of the three bigger classifications, had the fastest state meet record. So Owen just took that down by, I think, a couple tenths last year.
Hmm.
Um, and then, um, yeah. So I mean, and the crazy thing is, if you put all these guys together, I mean, you could potentially be scaring 4 minutes.
Yeah, because we'll talk about me a little bit later. I saw him at
Yeah.
South Sound. He doesn't like sit around and kick people down. And I mean, he can do that
No.
too, but
Right.
he's very, confident in his strength. And
Right.
we'll get to
And
Amin a little bit. Let's talk
right.
about, let me tell you about this thing too. 3A is
Yeah.
next. In the
Yeah.
last few years, 3A has been the race to watch in the
Yes.
1600.
Yes.
And it's still a
Well,
great race, but it looks like this year 4A might be the one to watch. But we'll talk about the 3A first.
yeah, I think, yeah, perhaps maybe in depth, 3A still will still have it this year, but and partly that is honestly it's a numbers game. There are more we used to have kind of balanced classifications. At least in the bigger classifications, about 65 schools per classification. Right now there's a big peak at 3A. And so
Hmm.
there's just more schools, more bodies. And so yeah, I mean, it's crazy. You look at Matthew Lawrence sitting at 408.5, Bill at 409, Shillito at 410, Herb 411. Mejia, who's actually an Oregonian,
Right, from Hermiston.
right?
Yeah.
Hermiston, the sophomore at 413. I
Oh,
mean,
another
yeah, so you're going,
sophomore.
yeah. So he's the top sophomore in the race. So you're looking at 408 through 418, and it's super deep. So just, I mean, it's a race to get. Let's see. Well, just on again, this isn't necessarily who's in the race, but there's 18 guys or 17 guys who've gone sub 420. You
Hmm.
know, so and most of those guys are going to be towing the line.
Yeah.
And I don't think. Well, this is the thing. So this who we haven't talked about here, and I think this is weighing on a lot of the guys' minds in this race. Sitting at number 9, at least in terms of the yearly rankings, is Mana Voss,
Yes.
the guy that nobody wants around if it goes slow.
Yeah.
All right, so Mana's got a 150, and he's run 150.
Hmm.
So it's like a mean, right? You really don't want him around in the 4A race. So I think that would probably get this race rolling from the start,
Hmm.
um, because your best shot is making sure you take the kick out of Mana.
Yeah.
If they turn it into an 800-meter race, I think
Yeah.
if it comes down to a 1,200-meter race, you're just opening the door, uh, you know, for a guy who's sitting, ninth on the list right now.
Mm.
Um, but that's what's fun about racing
Yeah.
is I tell athletes all the time, paper doesn't mean anything,
Right.
right? You just rip it up on race day.
Yeah.
The heat sheet, right? Let's go see how the race plays out. So I think there's a lot of intrigue here because it's so densely packed,
Hmm.
but also because I think you guys got some guys thinking, hey, we can't let Mr. Voss stick
Yeah.
around, you know?
Strategy. Yes. That's gonna be
Yeah.
fun. Oh, I can't wait. So now let's
Right.
go to the 4A boys, which is, actually
Oh,
I was just making a thing like 4A looks like to be a lot, but now 3A's got me really fired up.
yeah.
4A
Well,
looks really good too.
oh yeah, they're both really good, and I think with 4A, because their standards are a little softer, um, and in terms of the auto standards, so there's some
Hmm.
extra dudes who got in, which is just going to add to, again, the pressure, I think, to roll. Not
Yeah.
that I think they need any incentive, because you have four guys sitting at 407.
Wow.
Amin, Quentin, Lanise, Cohen, Butler, and Caden DeRocher. Um,
Hmm.
and two of those guys are teammates.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe we'll see some team tactics out of Olympia.
Hmm.
Um, you know, um, a little 1-2. You know, a little rope a dope. We'll see. But again, I mean, you've seen Amin race a number of times this year. I have. He's well. I know this too. Was talking with his coach on the fence on the rail last week at districts, and he said, "Yeah." He goes, "Amin tells me he can run under 404 right now." So
Yeah, that's
that's
too bad that he can't
yeah,
run against Dylan.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
he can too. I think if Dylan and him matched up, he could do it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't be
Uh,
surprised if Quinton and Cohen and
oh
Caden
yeah,
could do the same thing.
yeah. Oh
All they
yeah.
do is
And then
follow Amin and run these great times.
oh yeah. And then you got a number of guys behind these guys who are, you know, basically racing for podium spots.
Yeah.
And so if you figure, okay, the top four, the big four have, races they should. There's only four other spots, and I mean you're looking at, again, a bunch of guys grouped within 8 seconds of each other,
Wow.
going in. So it's gonna be this. They should have the. There's going to be plenty of fireworks on the track, but they should have some extra ones to set off after
Yeah.
this race finishes. So
Can I hype this 3A, 4A, 3-4 district meet that was run last week?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Go for it.
Okay, Amin
Uh-huh.
Fadar of Rogers of Puyallup was first, and then in the same race was Quentin Lanassi of Olympia, Cohen
Uh-huh.
Butler of Camas,
Right.
Caden DeRocher of Olympia, Isaac Benjamin of South Kitsap, Asher Pepin of Curtis, who ran a
Yeah.
huge PR. That was an incredible district meet.
Oh yeah. And what part of it was guys were racing because they knew what the standard was. It was 4:15, 4:38. So, and there were six bursts out, but they knew if they could run that, they were going to the state meet. So that definitely put pressure, on the field to do that. And I was really intrigued last week because I think the guy who held something in reserve, he didn't burn all his matches, didn't play all his cards, whatever right analogy you want to use, was Cohen Butler.
Hmm.
He got fourth.
It's a qualifying meet. It's not
It's
like
exactly. He qualified.
that's what you
Now
gotta do.
he did go out. We'll talk about what he did in 3,200 a little later, but he, again, first day, it's qualifying. I think maybe he had an idea of what he wanted to do in the 32, and so, and again, I'm just hypothesizing here, but
Okay.
I think he might have held something in reserve. So,
Oh, that makes
um,
it more exciting because I
yeah,
think if he probably thinks of it and his coach too that this is like it's a final on Thursday, and maybe last week
Yeah,
was the state meet prelim.
right. Yeah, yeah. I think. Um, I think for he obviously had the luxury to kind of to race it that way. I think.
Yeah, just is it top six that make it?
Yeah, top six that made it.
So he's going to be in the top six. He looks around and goes, "I made
Yep,
it."
exactly.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's yeah, so it's going to be exciting because those 1600s, everyone
Oh
is
my
just
gosh.
the dial's just got to get turned up a little bit, right?
Oh, it's getting
Um,
great. Cannot
and as
wait.
they, I think the 4As, as I said in Spinal Tap, this one goes to 11, right? It's an
Yeah,
extra
this one goes
push.
to 11.
This one goes to 11. So,
Well, there's other great races too. We don't want to take away from the 800 meters. There's some really
oh
fast
no,
kids in the 800
no.
meters. Who do you see in the girls' 800 meters?
Well, and that's the thing about that it's nice that the state meets over 3 days, but some of those 1600 runners are going to be on their 4x4 teams
Hmm.
that run after. And then they got to turn around, relatively early the next morning for qualifying in the 800.
Hmm.
But of course, um, but what we're talking about on the girls' side at 2A is definitely, back to Kirsten Ludeman of Seaholm, who ran 206 way back in March.
Right.
And she did run, I think it was 209 at her
Okay.
district meet last weekend to win pretty comfortably.
Okay.
So she's definitely, the hands-on favorite, in terms of the girls' race.
You talk about like seeing kids run against each other in different divisions. If she could run against Sienna Johnson, they both run 204, 205. Talk about the 3A race.
Oh yeah, uh, yeah. The 3A race. Um, yeah, Sienna Johnson's also, she'd run 206 at league. Took it a little easier last week. Um, and both, I mean, yeah, if you could put those two together in a race, they both have, 55, 56 quarter speed.
Hmm.
They both run cross country. So, they have this, the aerobic strength as well. Yeah, it will be interesting. I think there you're going to have two young girls just probably going from the gun
Yeah.
and seeing how fast they can run.
Right.
And then it will be, we'll leave the rest of us, kind of scratching our heads thinking, oh gosh, what would happen if they could race against each other,
Yeah.
um, hopefully we'll see somewhere down the road here.
Yeah. Maybe.
Um, and yeah, probably the most competitive
Yeah.
of the 800s is the girls 4A.
Yeah.
I
Anybody could
think,
do that.
yeah, I mean that is now you have a ninth grader at the top of the list. Orcutt just ran 209. Jenkins at 211. Wilhelms again at 211. Wenatchee, did she make the meet? Not at 211. And then
Allie
Ray
Noop
of,
of Wenatchee. Hmm.
yeah, and then Ray of North Creek at 212. And then you got the District 4 or 1-2 champ at 212, McClellan of Mount Si. So this thing I think is a lot more wide open.
It
Um,
is.
you know, um, and
Unless the
so
freshmen, I do these freshmen. I always
yeah,
talk about the freshmen.
uh-huh.
Unless the freshmen learn something big and they gets even better. That
Oh
kind of
yeah.
happened to Sienna Johnson last year. She just was like,
Oh
boom.
yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Um, so yeah, I think from just competitive standpoint, well, actually the top two right now on the 4A are both freshmen. JC Jenkins
Oh
at the
yeah,
height,
JC,
and
JC Jenkins. So
she's
yeah,
a freshman as well.
yeah,
So
that's gonna be great. We've got, the Washington State meet taketh away with graduation and they giveth
yeah.
back with our
Oh yeah.
freshmen. We've got some great freshmen.
Yeah, and then Willems is only a sophomore.
Yeah,
So I mean, this is a this could be kind of a budding rivalry here
right.
between these three, which is always fun to see. You know,
In the boys 800, there's going to be an awesome 800-meter race in Yakima.
oh yes, let's go to Yakima here. You're right on the guy side. Um, pull this up here. Yeah, yeah, you got the top three there. Hartshorn of Bear Creek, Tavelde of Meridian, and Getachew of Kings between 151.21 and 152.59 coming in. And the 2 and 3 actually just did that at their district championship.
They did, yeah.
Yeah. So those are recent times. Yeah, I mean, that could be one where goes to the photo finish, as we say.
And they're
at the
like clearly the three best runners in that division.
Oh yeah.
There'll be these three boys, unless somebody wants to really get a big PR and has the guts to do it.
Right.
Those three boys should be out there racing for their life.
Yeah, for sure. But that, I guess hopefully we hope they post that someone posts that to the internet so we can watch it, because we won't be there. And then again, I think the 2A 800 is going to be pretty interesting as well.
Yeah, they're pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, they are pretty evenly matched. And they're, Lawrence of Bainbridge, Randall of Squim, and then actually it is Rowell's teammate, great name, Maverick Ball.
It's a great name.
Yeah, I wonder who his wingman is. So, well, it would be Rowell, but he's not running it he's, we'll get to him. But yeah, that's another one where, and then you do have, some guys, again, like you said, if they're willing to kind of take a risk, could add to the top three there. But that 2A again, we could be looking at multiple races that scare 150.
Woo, that'd be cool.
Right? Yeah.
I think the weather's going to be nice enough for that to happen too. I don't think it's going to be too hot.
Yeah, Friday morning, we might get a little rain, but that's just for the prelims. And then a Saturday, in Washington at least, a distance or middle distance runner's delight. It will be about 63.
That's great. Especially at 3,200, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. For whatever reason, we have an allergy to night meets. I would love to
turn the lights on. Let's go.
Well, yeah.
That probably would help too. Teams that are traveling across the state, if you have like a Thursday, the state meet goes into Thursday night because it gives people more time to travel. And
yeah, I would. That's one of the things that I miss. Well, there's quite a few things I miss about Lincoln Bowl. If I'm being totally honest, and Star Trek down there always finished under the lights both nights. And I mean, that's what's crazy is like you think about how fast some of these kids are running just in the middle of the day.
Right.
Put them under the lights. Oh boy, look out!
Great.
Yeah. So that brings us to the 3A boys, where we do have someone, all right, Amana Voss, who's already run 150.00. Again, this is again an really interesting race. Corey, who ran very well last year at state. He ran 152 down at Arcadia, but I think he's pretty dangerous.
He's dangerous. He's a veteran. He's been on this list for several years, being at the state level here. So he's not going to be intimidated by Voss.
No, he's a veteran. He's running the 1600 as well. And then you got Michelson of Mount Spokane and Martin of Cheney, who had a battle at District 6. Again, a senior and a junior here, so lots of experience coming in. And then, it'll be interesting to see who makes the final behind these guys. Because it's very, it's 800, it's very, very tight. I think it could be a pretty exciting final. And it will be like that 1600. It's kind of a question of what Mana decides to do.
Right.
We one of my coaching colleagues was joking, actually with Mana's coach last week, about it will be scary when he decides to race all 4 laps. And we actually haven't seen him race all 2 laps too often this season. But he did in Oregon, and the result was a 150. So
I think he'll be
It's
motivated this weekend to
yes, I think so.
yeah.
So I think again, um, we're just again tightening up the intensity here as we go, because then brings us to that 4A, where Amin's already broken, right, 150,
Right.
and you got DeRocher now. Compton, the Eisenhower
Ian
is right.
Compton of
Yeah, he
Eisenhower.
didn't make the meet.
He what?
He didn't make the state meet.
Oh
Uh,
no.
yeah, third on time. So he ran that down at Arcadia,
Hmm.
and he was a scratch last week
Oh no.
in the 800.
Yeah, he's been one of the favorites too. He'd be right in there.
Yeah, yeah,
He's a good looking athlete too. He's just yeah.
yeah, he is. And then it kind of, it opens up a little bit
Hmm.
after that. So I think probably the deepest race we'll see at 800 is the 3A boys this
Okay.
weekend. I think the deepest, at least boys race, and then the boys 4A, of course,
Hmm.
1600, which we talked about, will be pretty, pretty deep and pretty packed in there. So
And then in
um,
the 3200, we have a lot of names we've already talked about because they are in the 1500, but then there's a few new names too.
yeah, well, again, so here we go. Well, yeah, we'll go to the girls first, and on the girls' side, again, on paper at least, right?
Mhm.
The clear, well, no, let me
We have
get
like
to
at the same
the.
time. That's what makes it exciting.
Yeah, exactly. Um,
They have the same first name too. It makes it just
they
very
do.
confusing and then
Sloan
exciting.
and Sloan, and they're
Yeah.
separated by 3/10,
Yeah.
um, and at least on seasonal best. Then just 10 seconds back is another Seahome gal, Lil Dressler. So,
Yeah.
four girls coming in already sub 11.
Right.
So yeah, I guess yeah. So you got Sloan without a knee and Sloan with a knee. So
Right.
we'll see which one of them picks up the win, or if Dressler maybe pulls an upset there.
That'd be great. That'd
So,
be fun to watch.
yeah, yeah, very exciting. Um, and um, and then of course, well, you talked a little bit before about some pride on the line in some of these races.
Hmm.
Um, and so again, you look on paper, Cassidy Armstrong, so in 10:08, and then she ran solo effort all the way back in March, and then she backed that up with a 10:11, I believe it was,
Right. I was
at her
wondering
district.
if she was healthier because you hate to see like 10:08 from the beginning of the season,
Right.
but she ran
But
10:11. So that's
10,
legit. She's ready to go.
yes, exactly. And so, I mean, again, I would think she's only running the 32.
Hmm.
Again, just maybe I'm just hypothesizing here a little bit. Maybe she's thinking she wants to take a crack at sub 10.
Yeah.
Or at least I think the fastest time run in a state meet on the girls' side is still Megan O'Reilly.
Hmm.
Oh no, maybe Ephraimson broke that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I think Ephraimson, and those were both 4A times. But regardless, going low 10 doesn't matter if it's record or not, would be pretty special. And
It'd be
if she could
special.
maybe try to crack that, break that would be something else. Um, and then of course, Sophia's in the race. You know, uh, Ava Bass of Ingram, who had a really nice race at districts. And then, can't overlook like Elise Core, um,
Hmm.
who raced really well at districts, and actually beat Sophia in the 1600.
Hmm.
And then again, you got a freshman out of Roosevelt. Again, can't overlook those freshmen.
Hmm.
Fort from Roosevelt, who ran a 10:53, breaking 11 at the district meet. So you have 9 girls. Well, Carlson's not raced; she's racing the 8:16. But at least it looks like maybe 8 girls that have broken 11 coming in.
Wow.
So it's that. This one's, I think. Well, it's gonna. This is one where it's gonna be single file.
Yeah.
I think
So
from
you're
the
going to be
start.
chasing Cassidy because she's going to go
Yep.
out hard. She's going to try to
Yeah.
run 10.
Yep. It's
9:59.
gonna be a time trial situation
Hmm.
um, at the state meet.
Yeah.
Um, the only thing we need there is some pacing lights.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It would be like the Diamond League.
Yeah. That'd
Um,
be fun.
and I think another young woman here who would love some pacing lights this weekend would be Latham West.
Yeah.
You know, was super impressive last week. And then you got the two Union girls, Koch
Hmm.
and Thompson. Um, and again, this is one that, oh wow, on paper, like 11 girls at least seasonally
Yeah.
have gone sub 11 already, and a lot of 11 O's. I mean, we won't quite see it because of how the districts lay out, but this is a race where you could see the vast majority of the field go sub 11.
Yeah.
You know,
That'd be
you
great.
know, and someone obviously in Latham, I would imagine at least trying to go sub 10:20 solo. So, um, which would be really cool. So,
Really
and
cool.
again, and then you got to think, oh gosh, what if we couldn't all get to Sloan and
Yeah.
Latham and
Yeah.
Cassidy all together?
Now, Lathan's been a star runner since her freshman year. I do not think she's won a state championship in cross country or track yet. So this is that.
Yeah,
And if I'm wrong,
yeah,
Latham, I apologize. But if that's the case, what a nice
oh
icing on
yeah,
the cake. Yeah.
that would be a great.
She's not like
The,
just showed up this year. She's been really strong and been in the
yeah.
hunt for such a long time.
Well,
So
let's
the
see. Let's go back. Yeah, she was um, last year. We could go back. We could take a look at the oldathletic.net page and see here. As 11th grader, yeah, she was fifth in the 16, fourth in the 32. As a sophomore, fourth in the 16, third in the 32. As a ninth grader, fourth in the 16, and second in the 32.
so
So,
she's been in the hunt every single year. Like she's
yeah.
has the possibility. I don't
Yeah.
believe she's won a cross country title either. So that'd be like a nice.
Oh,
She's been working hard these 4 years.
oh, yeah.
It'd be a nice thing
And,
for her.
and she's a three sport athlete.
She plays basketball in the wintertime.
She wrestles.
Wrestles. She's a grappler. All
Yes. She's
right.
a wrestler. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. She's fun to watch.
Yeah.
She's one of my wife, was disrespected, and she loves watching Latham race.
Yeah, she's
Just,
coming to the University of Portland, so I'll get to see her race some more in the
yeah.
future here.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a really good signee by the
Yeah.
pilots down there. So, yeah, I think she'll do well. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great weekend of racing in Mount Tahoma, and of course down in Oregon, and you're going to even be down in Fresno, and
Yeah, if we can see it all.
yeah,
Now, in the boys 3200, we've
yes,
got a 1A race with two guys running really fast times. I mean, that's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, yeah. The 1A, let's see, we get to the 1A. Yeah, yeah. Both sub nine, Zimmerman and Jung of South Woodby. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, so I mean, that's what I mean. It's almost like I think after this weekend, um, it's kind of like you go down to Arcadia, and it's like how many guys
And break
can
nine.
go
It's just,
break nine. Um, we could potentially be talking about something like that next week. How many
yeah,
guys in the state of Washington over during the state meets broke 9 minutes?
could be a record. There's a lot of
It it
kids already
it.
with under nine.
Oh yeah, for sure. So yeah, I mean that obviously we'll have to get the news uh, from over there on the east side of the state
Hmm.
um, in terms of how things are going there. But then over here, of course, in Tacoma, Dylan of Anacortes, who's already ran Heat 49, as we talked about. I mean, that's the thing. He ran 403 and 849.
What a double.
What's he going to do for an encore?
Yeah. He's
You
got a little
know,
more rest time too. It's the Thursday, Saturday too.
exactly.
And you just talked
Exactly.
about what a great pickup for University of Portland for Latham
Yeah.
West. Gonzaga's like, whoa, we're getting a 4-3. Boy, this is great.
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah, they've got to be excited. It's, yeah, yeah. I mean, just think if he scares 4 minutes this
Yeah.
weekend, by himself.
Okay, Matt. So we talked about Dylan running his
Yes.
8:49.56, but there are other kids in the 3A race that have either broken nine or can come, may even do it on
Yes.
Saturday.
Yeah. Um, so two right now, right? Who already done it in the season. Mejia and Henry Herb of Seattle Prep. But then you got a bunch of guys, handful of guys that 9 O's and even like 9-12 Becksburg here of Shadle. So um, I think this is one that again won't be slow as well.
Yeah.
Again, I think we're probably looking at guys saying, oh yeah, how many of us can break 9
Hmm.
this weekend? Um, and so I think this is one that's gonna roll from the gun. And here you got some guys who basically have a new champion.
Right.
You know, um, we don't have Owen Powell. He's graduated,
Hmm.
and so that just adds a little more intrigue because you're gonna have a
Did
first
Owen
time.
Powell run the 800 last year? And was it
Oh, well, you're right. You're right. He
our
did.
friend from Bishop Blanchett maybe won it?
Oh, yes.
Either way, there's a new champion.
New champion. You're right. Yeah. I
Vincent
stand
Lucupio.
Recupero. Yeah, I stand corrected. Yeah. Or trying to remember back. And then of course that takes us to the 4A.
The 4A race. I think I mentioned this to you before or maybe I
Yeah.
can't remember if we recorded this
I
conversation or
know.
not. But um, there's a Let's Run feed in their little,
Mm-hmm.
what do you call their chat room.
Right.
Hey, is it possible in the 4A that one of the oldest high school records, 62
Mm-hmm.
years old, from
Right.
1964, Jerry Lindgren, can they break it at the state meet? And there were some debates, and
Mm-hmm.
they were saying, well, it's kind of in the afternoon. I don't know if that's possible. But the record is 8:37, as I read in the,
Yeah.
and we have kids that are in the 8:40s.
Yeah.
And so maybe, but I don't know if it's going to happen. But it's still good. I think his record is in jeopardy in the next few years. That's for
Oh
sure.
yeah. 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 I mean, you. This is one too where I think, um, I mean, it's cool that there's overall records.
Hmm.
I wish on one hand we had like generational records
Hmm.
because obviously, as we know, right, the sport's changed.
Oh, he ran in a dirt
Yeah.
track with I mean, you would not want to
Right.
race in his
Yeah.
racing shoes.
Right. And then you just add surfaces, and of course now we talk about the shoes,
Hmm.
um, and of course the advancements in training, yada yada.
Yeah. Oh,
This is
yeah.
a huge rabbit hole.
Diets. Yes. All
Yeah.
kinds of stuff. Yeah.
But regardless, these young men are racing this weekend, and they're just concerned about racing as
Yeah.
they should be. Um, and obviously you got Butler, Benjamin, Lanise, all under 850.
Yeah.
So those are the big three.
Hmm.
And it was, I mean, well, Butler and Lanise definitely. I think Benjamin, again, this one interesting where I think maybe he held something in reserve a little bit.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I saw his time in the 1600 also. It's like maybe he's just trying to qualify and be
Yeah.
smart for next week.
Yeah. And I think too, he's a guy who he doesn't quite have his closing speed's been getting better.
Hmm.
Obviously, like any good, athlete, he's working on that. But Butler, we know Butler's got great closing speed, and Lanise is not too shabby himself. So um, it will be interesting to see what happens mid race.
Yeah.
You know, in this one. I always say, are we going to see a Nagugi, right?
Hmm.
The old John Nagugi throwing down the 60-second lap in the middle
Just to
of the
mix things up. And
just to yeah
could it be
yeah
possibly, is it Stasier Franklin of Mead who says, you know what? I have nothing to lose. I'm just gonna like
yeah
mess it up.
yeah I mean definitely. I mean you got a bunch
Because
of
somebody
guys.
like that, who probably could run really faster maybe if he was in Seattle area doing invitationals where he sees these guys all the time. That's the thing is these three guys,
Oh yeah
Isaac, Quentin, and Cohen, they see each other
yeah
half a dozen times throughout the season.
yeah they race each other a lot.
So you get faster when you race fast people like
Yeah
that.
yeah
Not to put Spokane down. We know Spokane is the Fertile Crescent of distance running. But when the fast kids are in this one little part of Washington and they're just
yeah
walking out the door and going to the meets and they're there all the time.
yeah. And what's crazy is you got I mean, well, Franklin from Meade's a sophomore.
Oh,
Um,
wow, that's great.
Lanice is, of course, a freshman.
Right.
Stafford from Tahoma is a sophomore.
Oh, nice.
And then you also have the Gonzaga prep freshman.
Freshman, the wrestler.
Yes. And, right. And he's run 908. Yeah.
Right.
Um,
This is
and
great.
Koenigs is the Arlington kid is also a sophomore. Um, you know,
So we'll be talking about them for the next few years
oh
here.
yeah. I mean,
And
it's
maybe that record does go down. And maybe not at the state meet, but at some meet that they go to where it's just they're smoking fast.
right.
I think
Yeah.
Owen Powell could have broken it, but I think he ran 8:38, but just like the state meet last year, it was kind of a funky start where they just no one took it out, and then he
Yeah.
closed it with some incredible 407 or something like
Right.
that. It was
And
incredible.
yeah. And that's the thing about, as we know about state races is, you know, sometimes, they don't get taken out because
No, it's
it's,
a championship race. You want
yeah,
to win, score
you're right.
points for your team, and be a state
Yeah.
champion. So
Yeah. It's, again, they can never take your medal away,
yeah,
but someone can break your record.
yeah, absolutely.
So, so that, um, that's always, oh no, it's just been bugging me. I was like, who won the 3A boys 32? It was Cade Burnell of Now Spokane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, him and Vincent came down. It was like
Oh, Kate, I
within,
apologize. Yeah, he had a fantastic career at
yeah,
Mount
right.
Spokane.
But see, there's a great case in point. We were just talking. You were just talking about is like that 3A race last year. I mean, they ran a 9:10. Nothing to shake a stick at, but those guys are definitely sub 9. They were sub 9 2 milers.
Yeah.
And yet the podium was 9:10 to 9:16.
Woo!
Yeah,
Right.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I apologize to
so
Cade. He had
yeah,
a
yeah.
great career there. We're running
Yeah,
at Washington
actually,
State now.
Mount Spokane went 1-3, and Westerman was third in that race. That was a great race for him last year. So, and again, we're going to see lots of story. Probably, I mean, we've talked about all this, but it's always fun to see the races play out and see what the storylines actually are.
Well, I'm looking forward. I'm going to be down there Thursday to watch the 1600s in Mount Tahoma. I
Yes.
leave school early, and then by the grace of traffic, I one year, like 2 years ago, I almost went, should I just go home? I'm not going to be able to see any of these races. So I did miss the 2A race, and girls,
Uh,
in half of the 3A race I saw. It was like, but I don't know. My goal is to be there on time. Sometimes the meet's like 10 minutes behind schedule, which was probably annoying for coaches and athletes, but for me, it's like,
yeah. Yeah.
So DuPont is my
Yeah.
problem.
Well,
DuPont,
hey,
Washington is my problem. They need to build a tunnel for me, just for me to go to the state meet, because DuPont, Washington is a problem for me.
yeah. All I can say is leave early.
Well, yeah,
I know. It's
I have this. I they're freshmen. Maybe they'll come with me. You guys want to go to Tacoma? Like what? Come on, let's go. I gotta leave a little early. Well, I'm gonna do my best.
all right.
On the phone, it says I'll make it with plenty of time, but I always have these snafus. Last year, somebody ran out of gas on the interstate bridge between
Oh
Vancouver
God.
and Portland, and I'm like not moving, and there's a man running behind me with a red can of gas. I'm like, oh, of all the things, because you run out of gas, like on the freeway, someone will push you to the side, and you just keep going, but there's no
Right.
side on the interstate bridge. You just clogged everything up. So
Oh,
those kind of bad luck things have happened to me going to the state meet with very little time,
yeah.
little
Well,
window.
hopefully that's not the case tomorrow.
I
You
will
know.
see you there at 4:20 with my camera.
All
2A
right.
girls. I now know who to look for. Thanks to you. I appreciate it, Coach Ellis, and thank you for coming on. I will hopefully see you tomorrow.
Oh, you definitely will. All
All
right.
right. Well, you have a great evening. Thanks for coming on.
You as well, Ken. Have a good one.
Hey, we're happy to have on Coach Thor Esbensen of Ida B. Wells. Hey, Coach.
Hey, thanks for having me back. Really appreciate this.
No, I appreciate you coming on too. We're going to talk about the Oregon State meet. Starts tomorrow, Thursday, with the smaller schools, and then Friday is prelims for the larger schools and finals for the smaller schools, and then Saturday is just the large schools at Hayward Field. We talked about this last year, but we'll do it again. Hayward Field. What is that? That's amazing. The state meet at Hayward Field.
It cannot go understated just what an opportunity is for these athletes to perform in that in that environment. I mean, that stadium was built for the greatest events in the world and for the greatest athletes in the world. And for high school athletes to have access to something like that, what a blessing. It was always a blessing with the old Hayward Field, just with the historic nature of that venue. But man, if you haven't been to the new Hayward Field, whew.
Yeah, the athletes get to see a part of Hayward Field that fans do not get to see, which is the underbelly of the stadium, which is pretty amazing too. So they get to go there as they check in and check out, and it's a pretty special, it's pretty neat, pretty special place. Um, yeah, so they're so lucky. They're very fortunate. Not to downgrade other state meets, there are other fine stadiums, but Oregonians
Absolutely.
are very, very, very thankful to be at Hayward Field. Well,
Well,
let's
we are thankful as fans as well, Ken, because
what's that?
there's not a we're grateful as fans too because there's not a bad seat in the house.
There's not a bad seat in the house. And actually, I'm going to say something else. As a photographer, it's not a bad place to take pictures because I just thought about this today. Um, a lot of tracks are east to west.
Mhm.
And so as the meet heats up, let's say like 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, the sun is just hitting you and you can't, it's just really challenging. They're north to south, and so you're not dealing with the sun in your face. So I'm sure they thought that through, actually. And, I'm sure they thought
Yeah,
that through
yeah.
because, ultimately these places we go to are football stadiums
Mhm.
and they play at 7 o'clock at night. It doesn't really matter where the sun is,
Yeah.
So this one is a track stadium and it's north to south, and I'm not dealing with the sun in my face. It's great. And at night, if they don't do the strobe light thing, it's an amazing place to take pictures at
Mhm.
night. The lighting there is so amazing. It's a great, great stadium. Well, let's talk about
Mhm.
the 3000. That's in Oregon. We start with the 3000. We don't run the 3200. We run the 3000, and it's the first event that the athletes do. So that gives them a chance maybe the next day to do the 15. Don't see too many 8 and 3 doubles. Who are some? And we're going to start with the boys. The boys go first at the state meet this year. So who are some boys that we should look for in the 3000?
Well, I'm a little bit more familiar with some of the larger schools, but there are certainly some amazing athletes in some of the smaller schools out there. You got a great matchup between Jackson and Corbin in 4A coming up. Both of them have run impressive times across the board, and excited to watch that one. But 5A is going to be quite an amazing. I'm really excited to see how that kind of plays out. You've got guys like we mentioned previously in some podcasts, Clayton, hero of Summit, running 8:15 earlier this season, very early in the season, but continues to perform really well. Going up against Liam Wild, who just ran 8:21 very recently. Garrett Fott, who has proven himself over and over this last season, only a sophomore as well. And I think one of the more exciting things about this race is we have a very fearless competitor in Ty Sereno.
Yeah,
I
veteran.
think, yeah, Ben, he's a senior now, and watching him over the past several years, he is just fearless about, hey, if we're going to do this, let's do this the whole way. I think he'll be fearless about taking it out and really pushing the pace to make the race happen. So
Yeah.
that should be a very wild race there. And not to, in that field too, you've got some stories developing. Ryder White, the ninth grader from Crater, ran 8:37. So if the race goes the right way for him, he's only 10 seconds off of the freshman state record that his uh, Crater alumni, Josiah Tostinson, had set just a couple of years ago. So
Wow.
that should be exciting. I'll be
It
watching
should
for
be
all
a
that.
great race. Yeah. And also Clayton, hero of Summit, and Garrett Fott of Crater they're both sophomores. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely.
So
So
this is the beginning of a 3-year grudge match. So it'll be fun to watch them do it.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, then in 6A, those are the bigger schools here. There's a Oregon legend, Malachi Schoner, going into his final races here and definitely wanting to put on a show. He's got the sophomore record in Oregon, and he was only a couple tenths of a second off of the national sophomore record when he beat a good friend of mine, Asher Danielson from IW Wells,
Yes.
in his sophomore year.
Yeah.
So he comes back with some impressive times. He ran 8:15 early in the season, but he just ran a solo 3:51 in the 1500 not too long ago. So he's ready to roll. He is going to be taking on a stacked field. The Jesuit team is bringing in 3 elite athletes that have all run in the low 8:20s.
They did it last week at the league meet. We talked about this last year because another couple of kids went at it at the league meet, and we were like, "Ooh, okay, can you do that 2 weeks in a row?" And it looks also in the PIL too. You want to talk about them too? They also got after it last week too. Isn't that right?
Yes. Again, so in Oregon, you have these league meets where you have teams that you race all season. And our qualifiers here in Oregon are set by the top 2 in your league meet. We don't have a district conglomerate or a regional qualifier. We go to our city championships essentially. And these are kids that grew up together and who've raced each other all season. And in the Metro, the Jesuit boys definitely went after each other and tried to get those auto qualifiers. In the PIL, we had some great athletes going for it. Peter James of Lincoln and his teammate Malcolm Dimoff really set the tone early in that race, trying to pull the race along. Felix Snyder of Franklin was kind of sitting there and really had a tremendous kick to bring it home, 8:23 or 8:22 actually, to bring it home. So a lot of athletes coming in with very similar times into that state meet.
Yeah, so maybe the reason why kids are going for it is that they want to help that third kid get the auto qualifying time, or the fourth kid too, if there was a fourth kid, because they were just trying to help each other out there. And you could lose to the kid to Franklin, and your teammate from Lincoln doesn't make it, so you got to make it by time at least.
Yeah, so there's a lot of strategy that goes into. So for people that don't know, in Oregon, the top 2 athletes auto qualify for the state meet. And then we have a time qualifier that is a average of 4th place over the last several years. So if you are making the top 2, you're in. If you run fast enough on a time basis, you're in. Then they also take the next 2 fastest times across the state and you're in. So it's a kind of a matrix of qualification that coaches are kind of running a calculus on. And there's definitely some conversations about, who's pushing this lap, who's pushing that lap.
Right.
I have no doubt that the Jesuit with their 3 athletes were saying, hey, let's just go to work and see if we can just make it happen.
Yeah, we can qualify another teammate. On the girls' side, I'm kind of tickled here. Some of the top runners in the state are from smaller divisions that you have promoted earlier this season.
There were 2 athletes in 3A that caught my eye early for a couple of reasons that we talked about earlier in the season, but really excited to see these 2 athletes from 3A come back together. Ella Henthorn from Coquille and Adley Damon from St. Mary's, 9:51 and 9:59 respectively, which are fantastic times. Yeah. And I'm just excited to see how the dynamics of that race come together. They will have an opportunity to challenge each other and just say, how fast can we make this? It could also come down to, team dynamics and how tactical should we make this. So that's going to be a really exciting race.
Yeah, it'll be an exciting 3A race. Do you remember like 10 years ago, if a girl broke 10 minutes, they were like, you were in a new territory. And now it's just crazy how often we're seeing it. These kids are running so fast. What about other athletes we look for in the girls 3000?
Well, in 5A, I hesitate to keep bringing them up, but Crater again is starting to put together an incredible women's program now. So Bryn Davenport has been running some really impressive times over the past 2-3 years. She comes in with the 5A fastest time in that 9:45. Excuse me, that she ran last week. She's got a couple of teammates that are right behind her. So another wild situation lining up there. Maddie Carney is a great runner from Caldera, coming in at a 9:54. I think Mari Dunlap, she's a sophomore at Crater. So, some great stories lining up. Natalie Kupka of Ashland also just barely over 10. So again, 10 minutes used to be a metric of elite, and these women are elite, but it is across the board. Like they're making it happen out there.
Yeah, I had a young lady that, the Metro Leagues with Sunset and Jesuit was so tough. So what could we get our girl to run 10:19 as the auto qualifying time? This is like 2016 or something. I don't know what the auto qualifying time is now. It's got to be like 10:05, 10:08. It's
I
got
believe it's 9:54.
Oh my gosh.
It
It
is.
was 10:19 in 2015 or
Yeah,
16. That's wild.
it is.
I believe it.
It is quite. It is quite quick. Um, the nice thing is that the girls, the girls know what they're up against.
Yeah.
So it's I think that the old adage is iron sharpen iron. I think these women are taking that to heart. They're. I keep thinking every year that the Oregon State meet, like, okay, we had a great run of elite performances.
Right.
Let's settle down again, and it's not happening.
No,
It's just
yeah, these graduation doesn't seem to
rising.
harm these kids at all. Another kid you'll probably talk about ran a 3,000 time that back in the early 90s, mid 90s, if you were a boy, you would qualify for the state meet at this time, and that's unreal. The world's upside down for me. So talk about the 6A race.
Sure. So lots of excitement in the 6A. Ellery Lincoln of Lincoln, again, has run some historic times this season. She comes in with a 9:06 3,000 PR, which she ran at a league meet. Now, people might not know this outside of our region, but
Yeah,
at our league meets, we run the boys and girls together. So
right.
there was some opportunity for her to have people around, but that doesn't change the fact that she ran 9:06 on a Wednesday evening.
In
So
California, coach, that was not allowable when I was a coach and an athlete. I'm lucky for that because when I was a freshman, I was like 5 feet tall and 80 pounds, and my wife was in my league. And we're the same age, and if she was and you know how girls are when they're freshmen, they can be really pretty talented. So luckily, we did not have girls and boys in the same race because my wife would then have that over me for the rest of my life, and she would have beaten me soundly. But I went to a dual meet 3 years ago. I was actually Newbury Park versus Westlake High School, and I saw the girls and boys race together. So maybe that's no longer the rule. But coming to Oregon, I wasn't used to seeing girls and boys in the same race. It wasn't allowable in California, but I think now it is. But you're making the point that she did ran a 9:06 in the 2 mile. Well, it's nice when you have some 9:10, 9:05, nine flat boys in the race too. So that's
Well, it
helpful.
takes nothing away from her performance, but it just harkens back. I remember we had some elite boys a number of years ago, and Ella Donahue was in the
Yeah.
3,000, a fantastic runner, a professional runner now. She had run 9:24, which was, I think, maybe the state record at the time in the 3,000, and she had done that, chasing down our varsity boys in that. It is a cool opportunity to see that those opportunities come together. But Ellery did run 9:06 earlier this season.
Blows my mind.
The next fastest time is off the top of my head, I forgot now.
9:47 is Evangeline Johnson Hess.
Evangeline Johnson Hess. Yes, you might recognize the name Hess of Jeff Hess, the
Yep.
head coach, former head coach at South Eugene, now a returning distance coach there, doing a fantastic job. His athletes will come up a number of times in our future conversations here. But Coach, it kind of reminded me. I mean, and I don't know that we're going to quite get there. The times are a bit farther apart. But it reminded me of when Aaron Clark of South Eugene
Hmm.
was the senior and Ella Donahue of Grant had one of the most famous
Yeah.
Oregon State meet races in which they battled all the way to the line. And Ella had set the freshman record in that. So Ella had run 9:37, I believe, and Evangeline has run 9:47. So and she did that at her district meet, winning by quite a bit. Maybe
Right.
we can kind of see a battle there.
Yeah,
Evangeline has
maybe
strong.
Ellery doesn't try to run 9:06. She just tries to win and saves herself for another event, which we'll talk about, and
Sure.
just runs to win. Or she's competitive and wants to put a state record out of reach for anybody else. I think it was done by, for all divisions, I think it was done by the Crescent Valley gal,
Mm.
Emily Wisniewski, I think maybe possibly, or she came close in the
In the
920s.
3,000, I was looking at some of this earlier. The all record is current was Ellery, but it was Kate Peters prior.
Oh, in the state meet.
Oh, yes, correct. Okay.
I'm just asking like the state meet record. I know that
Yeah,
we
that's
would
right.
watch these kids try to get the state meet record for all divisions. Like I remember, what's our kid from Creator that runs for Washington?
Tavon. No, no. Oh,
I know it's hard, isn't it? Our brains are not working anymore. But he was
that's his
trying to
name.
get Galen Rupp's record from another division. You know what I mean? He was
I
running
don't know.
5A, and he was trying to get that too. Just the all-around state meet record.
Yeah.
Um, So we'll see about that. I want to say, were you there? I mean, you were there for Donahue's 3,200 also.
Yeah, her 3K against Aaron Clark. Absolutely.
No, no, I'm
And
saying
that.
like when she got the dual
Oh,
meet, like when she
oh
set
yes,
920.
absolutely. Yeah.
So
Yep.
Ida B. Wells, because you were there for the Ida B. Wells dual meet, is another PIL dual meet. So the two records were done with your team there. You saw both of them. That's
Well,
pretty cool.
if you would like to set a state record in the 3,000, please challenge Ida B. Wells to a dual meet, and you might have a good
Okay.
chance.
Now, Ellery has a teammate that's done really well her whole career. They've gone to NXN as a team. Elise Hendrickson's in this race too.
Yes. Also, an extraordinary runner, just so strong, really able to handle a lot of steady pace.
Hmm.
I think there's a good chance. Lincoln has a very, very strong team. I think there's a high likelihood they might do a little bit of team nudge nudge. Let's do what we can to push the two of us to the highest positions we can.
Yeah,
Uh,
maybe go 1-2. Yeah, that'd be great. That's what is that, 19 points or something, or 18 points?
yeah, I mean they're certainly in the conversation for doing that. Elise looked incredible at our district meet,
Yeah.
and the two of them just kind of yeah, when they fired the gun, those two just went to work and just masterfully just ran a great 3,000.
So the next day after the 3,000, after the 4x1 is the 1,500. Who are some boys in the 1,500 that will catch your attention over the weekend?
Well, we have a senior in 3A, Ronan Gansos at Oregon Episcopal, coached by a former Wells athlete. I'm sorry to keep plugging us, but
Yeah, yeah.
Nick
Well,
Slenning has been doing a great job over at OES. And Ronan ran 3:54 last year at the uh, Jesuit Twilight meet and
mhm.
has run 3:54 low again this year at the Regis community meet.
Okay.
So he's a lot of eyes are going to be on Ronan. I'm sure Ronan's going to want to sign off a fantastic career with a great state meet. So
Right.
definitely looking forward to that. In 4A, we again have Jackson Stoll and Corbin Sage doing battle again, both coming in with very similar PRs, and it's certainly going to be fun to see them
Corbin
choose
Sage
how
of
they.
Marist, right?
Yeah, Corbin Sage of Marist and Jackson Stoll of Marshfield. Um,
And then Corbin Sage's dad is famous.
Corbin Sage's dad is famous. Donald Sage of Illinois lore with Elmhurst. Yeah, the stories are just so much fun.
Yeah, he ran at
Donald
York
Sage
and then ran
of
at
Elmhurst,
Stanford. Yeah.
York, and Stanford.
And that's
He was
back
a
in the days
teammate.
when kids didn't break 4 minutes, and he sure came in close in high school to break four
So
minutes.
close. Well,
Yeah.
and he was a teammate of Eric Detman, who's the coach at Lincoln with Ellery Lincoln.
Yeah.
And yeah, the stories go and go and go.
They do.
And you might have recognized Marshfield. For Jackson Stoll runs for Marshfield. You might have heard of was it Steve something?
Steve
Coach?
Prefon something. Yeah. He's from,
Yeah, Steve Fontaine from
yeah.
Marshfield, Oregon. So
Yeah.
all kinds of.
I made a pilgrimage to Coos Bay. My daughter and I did hill repeats by their high school because that's where Prefon Day did it. And there's like a hill right by their stadium there and right by their high school. And so we did that. And yeah, we didn't have time to go on the beach because he used to do really big workouts on the beach too. But it was a great visit to Coos Bay and and see his family home and his high school and his museum downtown. It was really fun. So
I'm
we've
sure it
got
wasn't raining either.
it was summertime. It was very
Oh,
nice,
okay.
very nice, very nice. Oregon, beautiful Oregon coast in the summer. This we talked about the 5A and the 3000. It's crazy in the 1500.
Yeah, we have just athletes on athletes stacked up with very similar PRs, with great closing speed, great strength. I don't gamble, but I don't know who I'd bet on in this one. We've got athletes just ready to roll. Bjorn Blankenship is running fantastic for Summit High School. He's coming in with 322. We talked about Ty Serena with incredible strength and confidence off the front of the pack, with a 353. Clayton Hero from Summit coming in with a 352. Garrett Fott of Crater coming in with a 353. I mean, it is just no doubt these guys are going sub 350. Again, I think there's athletes in here that to want to make this a race of who can endure.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a quick one right off the gun.
Yeah, you got Blankenship 352, Hero 352, both from Summit, both returning next year. It's like, what?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
6A has lots. It's also lots of kids.
Yes, again, yeah, these kids just keep coming up, and South Eugene again with Yasuke running 347 at Twilight in a great race. With the guys that came in and run. One guy ran sub 4 minutes in the mile there, and he was right there with 200 to go. That's fourth fastest 1500 in the U.S. Malachi doubling back. I watched him run that 350 solo. He looked so strong and so
wow.
smooth.
Wow,
And
that's gonna be fun.
He was ahead by meters for most. Oh boy, yeah.
Yeah, their league meet must
Yep.
have been just like,
And
hey, they had their league meet last week, and I wonder if they just kind of said, hey, we'll go for it next week,
Yeah, I mean, you kind of alluded to that before. You have a week to recover, but there's a lot of emotion and a lot of
Yeah,
exertion if you're running that fast 2 weeks in a row.
right,
For some of our athletes, options are limited. You're running fast, and that's
right.
the only way to get a chance next week.
Mhm.
For some of these athletes, they can kind of be thoughtful. We're going to see that a little bit more when we talk about the 800, where you can kind of see in the entry times which leagues played a more tactical 800 versus a more aggressive all-out 800.
Okay.
In the 15s, again, I think there was a lot of coaches thinking about other athletes in the field as well. I know in the PIL, there were a lot of guys that thought they could get that qualifier or could get that wild card, or so I know there was a lot of pressure on the athletes in our league to make it fast so that you could kind of give yourself more of an opportunity. There are just so many guys in the field. But Peter James has been running amazing this year. He's coming in with a 351 that he ran at Jesuit. He's already shown himself a massive closer in some of the 3000s that he's run, but he's got 155 speed coming into the 15. He's been looking very confident. The Jesuit squad, doubled back from their 3000 efforts and ran great in their league meet to get all their guys qualified.
Yeah.
They had 3 guys at 352. We're talking about numerous athletes under 410 for, a 16 or a mile, in that realm
Right.
anyway. So, yeah, it's gonna be wild. I keep
I think,
saying it, and I
yeah.
forgive me, but we keep thinking that these times are going to center themselves, and they're not. I think the term is trackflation. They just keep getting
Yeah, I
faster.
think UCK is going to take it out, and that's going to be a fast race. That's my theory, but we'll see what happens.
I'm excited either way. Let's get it going. But yeah, it is going to be another great um, race for Oregon distances. Just these guys are great.
And shout out to the 3A division. That's going to be great too. It's some fast kids in that division. 3A girls.
Uh, yes. So Banks, Oregon is just outside of the Portland metro area, but they have the Schoolmeister girls coming through. And in 3A, Sophie ran a great time at her league meet with a 4:27. I think that's second in the state
Yep.
for Oregon. We have Ella Henthorn, we referenced earlier from the 3K, has run 4:36. Sophie's sister, just a freshman, ran 4:37. So, and again, stories on stories, her parents are Colorado Buffalo running legends. So they're bringing that to us. So, yeah, I mean, again, that's going to be a race to definitely keep eyes on.
Hmm.
I do think it's going to be fast as I think there's interest from those three girls to push the pace on that race.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then moving into the 5A, you're going to recognize some of these schools again.
Mhm.
Crater and Caldera are both bringing a great girls in. Bryn just ran 4:32 right there at the Jesuit Twilight. Maddie Carney 4:35, so they're going to be battling. And then Eden Asbach, I haven't followed this athlete very much, from Redmond, but definitely catching fire here at the end of the season with another 4:37 at Twilight.
Fast.
So that again, and that, and then there's plenty of women running in those 440s. It's going to be another great race in 5A. And then that takes us to 6A. We might have mentioned Elliot Lincoln before, but she's coming in with a 4:12, which is far and away the lead time in the field. Oregon record nationally at one point was, 1 or 2.
Well, for the 15, it's number one. Her mile time's now number two. But
Okay.
her 15 is number one. Probably because some of these meets don't time the 15 when they come by it for the 1600 or the mile. Not all meets do that. Jesuit Twilight Relays does that. Arcadia does that. So you'll get that time. She has the number one time. Maybe the other gal that has the faster mile time, if they would have timed it at the 15, she would have it too. But you never know. So we're going to say
Yeah.
she's the number one 1500-meter runner in the nation, and there's not much argument. She's really fast.
Yeah, she is, and she is just a joy to watch run. And for anybody who has the opportunity to meet her, she is just a joy to talk to, engage with. Just a wonderful human. So it's always great to meet great athletes that are just greater people. So
Yeah, she's very
always,
nice. I've talked to her a couple times too. She's great.
absolutely. There are great athletes going to do their best to stay
Yeah.
with her, chase
Yeah.
her down. Eleanor Wyatt out at West Lynn has run great all season in multiple races, 4:33 for the 15. Naomi Cesar has been running fantastic for
Yes.
Sunset, really coming on this year, both in the 8 and the 15, with a 4:35. And there are, again, a ton of athletes in that mid 4:35s, low 4:40s, all going to make a shot at it. So the 15 is just so fun when everybody comes together. That combination of strength and raw speed
Yeah.
meeting up in the 15.
Well, speaking of raw speed, let's go to the boys 800.
You got it.
Different divisions are really competitive.
There are a lot of fast 800 kids in the state of Oregon right now. I think, typically we're a little bit more known for, 1500 and 3000 meter runners. But we've got in 3A, we mentioned Niakani earlier this year having a lot of great athletes in the 800.
Hmm.
Liam Gibson's coming in with a 152 in 3A. Me and Diani of Banks again getting mentioned at 154. They're going to have a great battle in that one. Again, the 800 is so curious to see whether athletes, make a break for it off the gun or
Hmm.
show a little patience in trying to make it a little more tactical as they come in the straightaway. In 4A, Cameron Deerdorf, Scapus, and William Flores also out there, coastal side of things, coming in with 154s and 155s. Definitely going to be a great battle there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much they've raced each other. They're not that far apart, but they don't have a lot of crossover.
Oh,
So
okay.
be
Yeah.
very curious
Scappoose
to see
and
how well they
Seaside
know
is an
each
easy
other.
drive. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't actually know if they see each other a lot or not, but I would be curious to see how they kind of feel that race out. If they've
Yeah.
met each other a lot, then I'm expecting quite a battle back and forth. And if they don't cross over very often, then it might be a little bit more of a patience kind of testing things as the hundreds tick by.
Hmm.
But moving to 5A, um, again, just these. Sorry, fans of the show. Crater again with Maxwell Miracle coming in with a 151 PR. He is definitely going to be ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see he has an ability to just go from the gun. So I'm excited
Mhm.
to see if he doesn't try and um, make it happen. Crater the last several years has had athletes in various races try to go after state meet records.
Right.
Like we mentioned, Tyrone Gorsey in the 3K 2 years.
Tyrone Dorsey. There we go.
Yeah,
That's his name.
Tavon Kitchen last year in the 3000, Josiah in the 1500. So I'm pretty sure Maxwell Miracle's been having conversations about, hey, let's not just try and win this. Let's see how fast we can win this.
Yeah.
And then 6A, where there's a lot of speed in 6A again this year. So Yasuke, who we mentioned earlier, also has run 351. Um,
151.
Sorry, 151. Sorry, I'm thinking about his 15 again.
Yeah.
Yusuke's run that 151. Anders Hagen of West Salem ran 152 early in the year. So interesting to see if he's going to be ready to really let one rip here at the end of the season as he's gotten prepared. Returning state champion, Paul Rick, I apologize,
Retanu?
Recano, Tigard, with a 151 earlier this year. From Clackamas, who has developed a really fantastic 800 program out there.
Hmm.
Their coach has done a lot of great work getting those guys ready for the 800. Cruz Mogul coming in with a 154. He was second last year, I believe. And
Yeah.
so he's going to be hungry to see if he can kind of go back at this. We mentioned earlier this season, Jacob Lovelace out of South
You did.
Eugene. Sophomore running 154 coming in.
Hmm.
So just some really impressive times in there. And Jack McDaniel has run some really great performances. 155 coming into. He really powered away from the PIL competition, which is not easy to do with
Right.
with volume athletes there. But they interesting quickly there with those athletes. The seat times are going to be challenging because someone like Jack McDaniel, he ran 155 at his league meet, but a lot of these 151 athletes also ran 155, 156 at their league meets. So it's not based on personal best time. It's
Hmm.
the time you ran at your league meet. So
Right.
these heats are going to be, pardon it, heated in the
Yeah.
sense that
They could be lopsided, they could be, yeah.
they are, certainly are. And the girls ended up in some of those same situations earlier when I was looking at the heats that were released earlier.
Have to tell you that I've coached some 800 meter kids, and the Metro League's a tough league, and they work their brains out to get out of the Metro League. It's not just my kids at Aloha, but kids in the Metro League in general. And unless you're running a 151 and you're just that's a different story. But if you're in the mid 155, 150s, 156, there's a there's a chance you won't make it out of the prelims. It's just
Oh,
really
it's crazy.
tough. Yeah, it's just hard. It's just a hard thing to go the well. Can I say one more thing about Yusuke and Paul? Yusuke of
Yes.
South Eugene and Paul of Tigard. They have similar times. Yusuke is going to be running the 1500 earlier in the meet. I don't even know if that's going to affect him at all. And Paul has some little pride there. He wants to defend his title. I saw him run his 151 a couple weeks ago at the Portland track meet, Twilight meet. He wanted to break 150, but that was a PR. I thought, well, that's a PR, Paul. That's pretty good. Unfortunately, he was in a heat where he was the man. He won by quite a bit.
Right.
If he had gotten in the next heat, he would maybe run 150 or maybe whatever. So that's going to be a compelling race. And those other boys just go with them, and it could be really
Yeah.
fun.
Well, and for some of these kids in the 800, some of them have had to do a lot of the work in their races. So if they've got athletes like Yusuke and Paul taking that first lap out in 54, 53, that they might have more than they thought in that second lap.
Yeah.
And we could see some really exciting times pop out of a race like this when you've got so many guys who have gone so fast.
All right, Thor, we got the home stretch here, the girls 800.
Perfect. So again, bringing up some familiar names as athletes from the 15 and the 3 kind of converge in some of these aspects. A lot of 1500 meter runners are going to be in these 800s. So in 3A, Sophie Schoolmeister coming back, and she's run incredible in that 1500, but she's also run amazing in the 800. So she got a 2:13 this year, but she's run faster.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see if she's going for points or if she's going for speed. I'm sure I should have looked. I bet they've got an incredible 4x4 as well.
I bet they do. Yeah, Sophie's been going to the University of Washington next year and running for the Huskies. So congratulations to Sophie. And then in the 4A, there's a fast runner too.
Tori Sherman from Marist. Marist, a private school down there in Eugene. We've brought them up earlier with another athlete, 2:14, quite a ways ago. Sometimes for some of these schools in 3A and 4A, finding races that have enough athletes that are running that fast to pull you along, they're not as present. It'll be interesting to see. So that was back at the Sherwood meet earlier this season. So be interesting to see what her hard work has done, see if it pays off in this state meet.
Yeah, the way it works here in Oregon is that the first meet is in March, but it's right before the week before spring break. So you're doing some either icebreaker or a dual meet that's maybe non-league dual meets. You're nothing really is going to happen there. And then in April, hot and heavy, and then the way the state meet's kind of gone farther down in May, there really aren't as many. I think there's an opportunity for some fast early season May invitationals that can develop. If that's the case, if that's the way it's going to be, if that's going to be at the end of May. So the kids end up just running it like most of these PRs that I've sent you are from April, but it's not necessarily their fault. It's just the way our schedule works out with their invitationals.
Absolutely. Well, and that Sherwood meet's a fantastic meet. So
yeah,
there are some really great times that came from that meet.
Well, it's the meet. What's it called? The speed. What is it called again?
Yes.
The Need for Speed.
Smith, Need for Speed. Yes.
Yeah. So they're going to get speed there, and that's a nice track, brand new track, new facility. So that's a great place too.
Absolutely. So. Well, and then we mentioned earlier Eden Osbach from Redmond running the 2:14. Going up against Lillian Weeks from Crescent Valley, running 2:14. Crescent Valley, I think, is going to show up in numerous distance events as they always do.
Yeah.
So they'll be mentioned. And then this name has been mentioned to me a couple of times. I've got some friends in the area, but Natalie Kupka of Ashland also running 2:14. So we've got a front runner battle going.
Yeah.
And not to be outdone, McAllen Cutsforth of Canby, 2:14.
Yeah, so we have 4 girls at 2:14. That's going to be amazing, right?
and most of them at their league meet which was just recently. So,
Right.
uh,
I think the 800 sometimes can be different too, because you just go fast. It's not really like you're just going to run fast. And so you might have a chance to get that as your league meet. So, and then in the 6A, I want to, you go ahead and talk, but I went to the Metro League Championship last week and I'll give you my little insight here. So go for it.
so the 6A is also going to be exciting. Um, Ellery Lincoln is coming in with her. No, she's not.
No, she's
She's out of
not.
the
You
eight.
can't triple. We've already talked about her
She went.
twice. You can't triple in Oregon.
She went 1500, 3K, and Ken. She's in the 400.
You're allowed to do sprints. Oh my gosh. You told me that that might be a possibility if they wanted to win state.
We talked about that earlier, and it turns out that is currently the situation. She is
I
entered
believe
in
she'll
the
do it, and I believe
3000,
she'll do great.
15, and 400. I I have stopped doubting Ellery at every level. She can do
Yeah.
whatever she
So not
wants.
allowed
No
to do
matter.
three distance events. So she is not in the 800, which opens the door for a number of athletes. Very exciting for them.
Well, Naomi Caesar from Sunset is running really, really well in a number of recent events. She doubled back last week at the Metro Championships with a 210, 209 high, but
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
run
She's still ran
209.
209. Yep.
Yeah, 209 low earlier this year at Arcadia, but almost doubled that at her conference meet after coming off the 1500, which was an impressive race. Going right up against Miranda Obland, great athlete from Mountainside, running terrific right now. She's run, 211, 212 several times this season, getting ready to get out. And they both, those athletes, were they second and third last year?
I don't know about Miranda, but say Naomi was second. I think maybe you're right about
Was she?
Miranda. I think she was third. I want to give you a theory that I now realize I'm not very smart and it's not a good theory. But I was going to tell you, watch out for Miranda because Naomi's running the 15 and she'll be tired. But
That that
she ran it last week at the league meet and still beat her. And
well, I can.
the league meet's more condensed. There's no like 4A, 3A, 5A, 6. You know what I mean? It's more condensed.
Mhm.
And so Naomi ran in the 15, won it. I don't know, 45 minutes later, runs the 800, wins it again with Miranda in the race. So it doesn't matter. I was going to say, well, Miranda's going to be fresh. Still, Miranda's going to be fresh. Um, and I guess you could say, Miranda will run the prelims, obviously, to get to the finals. And Naomi's going to have a prelim and a 1500 final. I don't know. Maybe that'll have an impact. But she did really well last week, regardless.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Well, I do have a little insight just knowing their coaches are so thoroughly thoughtful in Dan Nieway and Dave Frank, both legendary Oregon
yep.
coaches. I can't imagine the mental gymnastics those guys were doing going through those races.
Mm.
Miranda ran fantastic. Was that in the 1500
The Twilight Relays. Yep.
and just a fantastic 1500. And then I think this Metro League was probably her second best race of this season.
Hmm.
So it could be that she reset her trajectory and she's ready to really attack this state meet.
Hmm.
I wouldn't put it past Coach Frank that he's like, we need to get through and then we need to attack. But
Hmm.
the numbers
There,
on the page say that Naomi came back tired from a 1500 and still got the job done. So
yes.
wild race
Yes.
coming up.
So she's incredible. She's fit.
Absolutely. And another just sincerely great kid. Both these kids.
Yep.
We've gotten to know Naomi, a wonderful human being, and Miranda was at our team camp, just such an amazing person. So again, loving seeing just great kids run great times.
Right.
But they've got work to do.
Yes, they do.
Eleanor Wyatt is also in the race. She'll be coming off the 15, so we can test your hypothesis again with her. Evely Buger of Sherwood is also coming in. So we've got 209, 211, 212, 213. Adelaide Wozniak from Southridge also coming in with a 213. So there's a lot of experienced runners coming in running
Right.
fast. Um, and so it'll be exciting to see how that race develops. Um, a lot of these girls also have fast 400 times.
Hmm.
And so to see, what strategy they take against each other,
Right.
uh, Naomi is a really great closer. And so she might be coming off that 1500. She might be saying like, hey, do whatever you want with the first 600 meters. I just want to wait for that last 150 and see what I've got left in the tank.
Hmm.
Um, or, some of these strength girls like Eleanor Wyatt might say, hey, let's make this tough
Yeah.
for some of these closers and try and take the legs out of some of these girls.
Yeah. Eleanor Wyatt's, she's really incredible. And she is, I don't know if it's poorly timed, but she's got, Ellery Lincoln around for another year and she's got Naomi around for
Sure.
another year. It's kind of a bummer, but she's competitive. She'll get in there. She'll mix it up. So, um,
Well, and you want to also think about a lot of these 800 athletes are also going to be thinking about 4x4
right.
aspiration.
Yep.
So there's a lot of deep conversations happening between coaches who are then giving strategy to these athletes. So it's always fun to kind of see what
Hmm.
avenues some of these teams takes because some of these athletes don't have 4x4s,
Yeah.
but many of them do.
Well, Coach, I sure appreciate you coming on and giving us your analysis and all the different divisions. And I know you're a super fan. You'll be watching all the races. You've got kids in the races too. So, by the way, I want to compliment IW Wells' Instagram game. You guys got a good game. Good job. Is one of your kids in charge of that or your assistant coaches?
Well, we have one of the most wonderful departing athletes. She's a senior, so she's going off to Carleton College next year. But she has taken ownership of our Instagram account, and she is just a rock star.
Yeah, she's doing
I don't know if
great.
you remember the viral video from the Jesuit Twilight Relays.
Hmm.
Our senior Jane Coffey Reed is running our Instagram account, but also set off that dance party at Twilight Relays that kind of went
Nice.
viral for a while. Sorry, Tom.
Yeah, you guys have a great Instagram. I think it's really fun. Well, Coach, good luck this weekend with your athletes and enjoy the meet. And we look forward to getting some more analysis from Oregon as we get into cross country season next fall.
Thank you again for having me on. I really appreciate the
No, I really
conversation.
appreciate you coming on. This is awesome. You're really good at this. All right.
Appreciate
Well,
it.
we'll talk to you soon.
All
Okay.
right, sounds great, Coach. We'll see you soon.
Hey, we're happy to have Coach Albert Caruana on. Hey, Coach.
Hey, how's it going? We're back.
We're back. It is state meet week. We're going to talk about the state meet. That's a Friday, Saturday meet at Buchanan High School Veterans Stadium in Clovis, California. And we'll talk about the 1600 and the 800 as if they're going to make the finals, but they do have prelims that they have to get through. And the 3200 and the 4x8 are finals on Saturday. So let's start off by talking about the first race on Saturday, distance race, is the 1600. Let's talk about the girls. Who are some of the girls that we should be aware of?
Right. So the favorite's going to be Braylon Combe. She's a defending champion last year. She ran 4:35.64. Just barely beat Hannah Thompson, who had a great meet last year. So she's the defending champ. She won the Southern section. So she'll be the favorite. I think Kiara Daly is going to be, I think she's going to be probably the closest runner to her. And since Braylon Combe is tripling, I believe, she's
Yep,
going
she
to be
is.
doing this. Yeah, so she's going to be doing the 1600, 800, and 4x8. She's going to try to win with as little effort as possible. So I don't think it'll be the same time as last year.
Mhm.
And she's probably just going to try to win by kicking. And but Kiara Daly, she ran 4:39.01 at Arcadia. Anna Salter was second at CCS. Brooke Oliveira was the winner, but she scratched. And it's interesting that in the 1600, if you look at the top 10 in California, the number 3 through 7 runners are not in this race.
Yes, I was doing the research for this and like where are they? Then I was nervous they were injured or sick, and then I found them all in the 3200. So you
Right.
really have like these two girls that are going to be what I would think unless
Yeah,
unless it is just a sit and kick race. You should have maybe two girls, Kiara and Braylon, way out,
right.
and then girls following suit from that point on.
Right. And then you have Gretchen Yukaitis of Carondelet, who won the NCS meet, fairly handily, and I think she can run even faster. She's also doubling, but the 3200 is not going to get in the way of the 1600.
Right.
You have Isla Terrell of Monrovia, who ran 4:48.68 at Mount Sac. And then here, let's see. And then you have Isla Bulmer of Claremont, ran 4:49 last week. And Delaney Naparala of Oaks Christian also ran 4:49.79 last week. So I think, um, just like you described it, I think it's two girls. I could see Kiara Daly trying to make it like a really honest race,
Yeah.
and knowing that Braylon Combe doesn't, she needs to kind of conserve her energy for the other two races. And
Hmm.
with all the trials, you're looking at two races on Friday and then
Correct.
three races on Saturday. So so that's going to be interesting. There's only been two girls who've won the 1600 and 800 in state meet history. So Kathy Costello of Pleasant Hill in 1975. And back then, the 880 was first, and then the mile. And then Sadie Engelhardt did the double in 2023 um, out of Ventura.
Yeah, very hard double to do.
Yeah,
Sadie is a special athlete, so that makes sense. But Braylon is also a very
yeah,
special athlete, one of the top runners in the nation.
right.
Maybe she can do this.
Yeah,
Um,
boy, if she can pull out the triple victory, that would be amazing.
it would be amazing. Yeah, we'll talk about the 4x8 later in a little bit. I was going to give you a little tidbit, but I'll wait. In the boys' race, we're going to have kids in the 4.0s. It's going to be awesome.
Right. So in the past, until last year, like 408, 409, 410 got you in the hunt for the win. Last year, it took 403 to win. And but unfortunately, Connor Lott has been injured all season, so he's not running. I believe if he was healthy, he would be the favorite.
Yeah.
He obviously proved himself last year and then this fall in cross country as well. But I think Maximo Zavaleta, he um, he won the Southern section and he ran 4:04.28. I think that was the previous week in
Yeah.
the
Finals.
and then you have Aiden Antonio, who's been like right on his hip for
Improving every
many
week.
races. And so he ran 4:05.14 in the previous week as well. So I think those two are going to be duking it out again. Steven Ziebert, so he ran 4:07 at CCS, but that was at the semifinal. In the final, I think he just kind of ran just hard enough to win. I think he's got more in the tank, but we'll see. Um, Cooper Stream won the Sac Joaquin section, but he scratched to
Hmm.
focus on the 3200. So Peter Kendall was second there, ran 4:08.97. There's a couple of guys from the San Diego section. Cam Yarbrough of Del Norte, he won, and he's also run 151 and 8:59. So he's super talented runner. And the guy that was second to him, Cooper Castleberry of Poway, he ran 4:07.22 earlier. So I think those are two more individuals that could be in the mix. So it'll be interesting. Just like you said, you're going to have two heats for both boys and girls. The top four in each heat automatically advance to the final, and then the next four fastest time advance to the final as well. So the issue is sometimes you have one heat that's everybody's, you get one front runner, everybody goes along with them, and then the four fastest times come out of that heat. And then sometimes you get a kicker's heat where they go out slow, they're conservative, and then all of a sudden only the top four from that heat. So it just depends on what heat you're in,
Hmm.
and the heats are based on what people did at the section final. So
Right.
sometimes you'll get like a Kiara Daly who didn't run that fast to win her section, so she's put in a heat, um, that maybe she didn't belong in, or however it worked out. So it'll be interesting. The trials are definitely you'll see people getting knocked out that, oh, that person should have been in the final, but they don't
Right.
make it. So we'll see.
Yeah, that'll
Um,
be interesting to watch on Friday.
yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting. So Cooper Castleberry, he's going to U.S. Naval Academy, and his coach Ronnie Harris
Did also.
also went to U.S. Naval Academy, and Ronnie Harris was an Olympian.
He was an Olympian. Ronnie Harris and I are not rivals at all. He's much faster than me, but we both were in the Southern section, the class of '83. I remember him very well.
Yeah,
Excellent runner. And then I followed him in college. And then I went to the Olympic trials and watched him race. And I go, hey, that guy, I was in the same races, same starting line and same finish line, but
yeah,
not in the same technical. We weren't racing each other, but I do
yeah.
remember him. He's from my
That
class.
yeah, that was like me. I got to race Matt Justo in high school, but he used to lap me, and so he was a
Yeah,
senior. I was a
if they
freshman.
took the picture at the right time, you're right on his shoulder.
I was right there holding him off.
So the girls 800, here comes the amazing Braylon Combs story. What's going to happen there? What do you think is going to happen in the 800?
Right. I mean, she was impressive at Arcadia. I believe she got second,
She did.
but she's tough. I mean, she has a great finish. So I think once again she'll be the favorite. Josie Hill of Sonoma Academy, I think. So she opened up late because she was a transfer, ran 2:06:38 by herself. She is two-time NCS champion. She won NCS again. Uh, the NCS meet was at Dublin, and it gets windy at
Yeah.
Dublin, so the times might not be impressive. And she just ran just hard enough to win and advance. But she made the final last year, finished 11th, so she has experience. She has a really good coach, and so that'll be interesting. She'll be fresh. She's only running the 800. You also have Ava DeCleve of Scotts Valley, CCS champ. She ran 55 seconds earlier this year at Stanford. I think with a faster pace and somebody leading the way, she can definitely be in the mix. And then you also have, so one of the runners that dropped the 16 was Reese Hawley of
Hmm.
J Sarah. So she ran, well, like 4:45, I believe,
Right.
in the Southern section final. So she ran 2:08:10 at Mount Sac. She'll be fresh,
Right.
and so she's definitely a threat in that race. But I think if you look at all the competitors, you got Braylon Combe, Josie Hill. Let's see, was there anybody else?
I have a wild card for you. Grace Smith
Yeah,
of
right.
Claremont finished second last year at the state meet and is sort of like lurking. She's just, waiting for this big moment. And then also Josie Hill. I feel like we've talked about her 206 back at she ran in her first meet of the
In April,
season.
yeah,
And we're just waiting for the right moment, I think, where she's just going to pop a fast one. And if she's next to Braylon Combe,
right.
that could be it right there.
Right. And I think this is another situation where you're going to have runners who are fresh, and they're not going to let Braylon Combe like control the race. And, they should go out and make it an honest race. Yeah. So Grace Smith last year, second, ran 2:08:22 at Arcadia. And also you have Nicole Sampson of Santiago Corona. So we'll talk about them more in the 4x8, but she's also run 2:07:82.
And they're trying to get points. That's the reason why Braylon Combs running three events. They're trying to
Right.
may not win the state meet, but they like to get a plaque.
Yeah.
Top four. Is it top three finish? They're trying to get it.
I believe so. This is something that's it might be too. It seemed you got cross country, you got five divisions, you got three trophies, you got,
Yeah, you have one
so
division
many
in track, and they have
and
that
then
many.
in track, yeah, and I don't know if maybe I'm wrong, but I believe it's only two. It's like that doesn't make sense. It's like how
Yeah.
can you have all these trophies in cross country with so many divisions? It's like all these states that are like a third size of California and they have like six divisions. So,
Oh, I don't know what are you referring to, but
well,
maybe I might know that
yeah,
state.
and yeah,
I think it's
yeah,
three. I kind of remember Ventura getting a third place
yeah, it's
plaque a couple years
possible.
ago when Sadie was on the team. So I
Yeah,
think
yeah, it's still it seems, but anyway,
so that'll be fun. And then I think this is my opinion. I think the boys 800 is the compelling distance race
I
of the
uh I
meet.
I, I was gonna bring this up. I was gonna go like, okay, which race do you think is gonna be the best? I think this has the most heavyweights of all the races,
Mhm.
and I think it's very difficult to pick a winner. I mean, maybe somebody is gonna come out of this and go like, wow, that person's really impressive, but you have contenders. You got Aiden Morales of Jay Sarah.
Alden Morales.
Alden, sorry. Alden, so he ran 150.24 at the Mount Sac relays. He actually broke 150 as a sophomore, but was
He did.
injured and wasn't able to finish the season. And let's see, last year he finished third at the state meet. You got Lucas Alberts, he's been battling Hugh Heyer
Yes.
of McClatchy, like, oh,
I guess
they're both, yeah, go
I
ahead.
bet they've been battling since they were 10 years old in youth track.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean it's crazy at the Sac Joaquin section. Alberts won 150.10. Higher was second 150.24. Alberts has finished second last year at the state meet. He's broken 150 this year. So you got Morales, you got Higher, you got Alberts, and then Josiah Bowman of Sage Creek. He ran 149.54 at Arcadia, which is the eighth fast time in the nation. I mean, you have Ryan Berger of Miracosta who ran down. I believe it was him that ran down Morales in the 4x8 at the
Yes.
Southern section meet, or
It was
maybe it was
Krish
just
Desai that did that. Yeah.
okay. That I mean that was super impressive. And then Evan Chopra of Menlo Atherton, he ran 410 at the CCS semis and then scratched that going into the final so that he has a chance to run an 800 fresh, and he ended up running 151.42. So I think he's got a lot of run in him. He's in the same league that I coach now, and so I mean I I could probably come up with somebody, but I don't know. Like this is going to be like an incredible. I mean, you could have four guys going across the finish line, all leaning at the finish line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree, and that this will be the race of the day on the distance side.
And I want to mention that Wyland Obando, who won this event last year as a
Right.
senior and did
Yeah.
not complete a season, if he was in
Right.
this race, this would be crazy.
Right. And I believe he ran the 4x8 at the Southern section at the Masters meet last week. I was watching the videos and they mentioned him, but he couldn't advance as an individual because I guess he was still hurt at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, um, so it's interesting that I think the last time they broke 150, like I don't know, it's been quite a few years. Usually it takes like 150, 151,
Mhm.
152 to win. Um, but it's going to take a sub 150, I believe. If the pace is right. If it turns into a kicker's race, then it'll be another 150 low.
Mhm.
But if somebody takes it out, if somebody goes like, hey, my chance to win is to have like a really honest race, then we could definitely get a sub 150 at this year's state meet.
I can't wait. It'll be fun. And then the really exciting race is the 4x8.
Right,
Um, this should be fun to watch too, and could have implications for Long Beach Wilson's probably trying to win the state meet.
right,
Maybe Santiago is trying to do the same. It'll be interesting for like points too.
right. And so this is a discussion I was having with some other coaches is the placement of the 4x8. There's got to be a better place where to put this race. And the reason is like you have Braylon Combe, she's running the 800 and then coming back and run the 4x8. I think you get a little over an hour rest. I think it's like an hour 15 minutes. So you have 100-meter runners, the 4x1 and 100 easy double. Yeah, 400 runners and 4x4 easy double. But like the 800, you have to really think about it. It's like, okay, can my runner do both, or do we have to like focus on one or the other? And The Sac Joaquin section, they have the 4x8 at the beginning of the meet. So I believe the NFHS, that's where they suggest the 4x8 goes. And a lot of states begin with the 4x8 relay.
Hmm.
So, that might be an option. I thought maybe if you put the 4x8 after the 3200s, that's another option. But then obviously you have 800 runners who might be also running the 4x4. So I don't know. So
Hard. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know
As a
if
coach, I don't know if I'd want it at the beginning if my kid's a hotshot 800-meter runner.
yeah, but I don't know. You really have to think about. I think the easiest double is the 1600 and the 4x8. If you have that's a very doable
Yeah.
double. But for the 800 runners, you have to really think about it.
Hmm.
Um, but so the 4x8. So we're looking at the girls. So last week, Jay Sarah. They ran like 9:14, but they qualified. I think they were just trying to qualify,
They're
but
just
they
trying to
ran
qualify. Yeah, the next team was 9:18, so they're just trying to make it.
right,
I thought the incredible thing is that Santiago won it without Braylon Combe.
right. Yeah. Obviously super they're deep and they put her in there and they're obviously super solid again. But Jay Sarah ran 8:50.22 at Arcadia. Santiago Corona ran 8:50.97. I think that was a really good race at Arcadia. So that'll be interesting. At Arcadia, both teams were fresh because
Right.
it's the first
First
distance
distance.
relay at
Yeah.
Arcadia, so we're not going to get that, and we might not get the same time. But last year I think Santiago Corona won, and they ran 8:49. And then you have Claremont who ran 8:56.56. Long Beach Wilson, who you mentioned already, ran 8:59.93 at Mount Sac. St. Francis out of Mountain View, they ran 9:04.07 last week, and Claremont was super close to them. Both teams will have fresher runners because a lot of their runners had to double and do multiple events. So, I think one or both teams will have a shot at sub nine.
Hmm.
Right now in CCS, St. Francis, I believe they did it a couple of years ago. They're the only CCS school to break 9 minutes, so they might have a shot to do that again at the state meet. And then out of the Sac Joaquin section, Whitney and Davis, they were first and second, and they're really solid programs, and they'll be contenders as well.
Okay. The boys race, you have like a kind of a repeat of the girls race where the southern section is a strong
Right.
section.
Yeah. So Jay Sarah, they won last year. They ran 7:38.13 at Arcadia. Martin Luther King ran 7:38.38 at Mount Sac, but I
With
believe
Maximo. Maximo
right,
ran in that race.
right. So I don't believe he'll be running
No, he's
on that
listed, by the
team.
way. He's one of the six runners. I doubt it.
Yeah, that would be a super. I don't know. I mean, once again, it's just where the 4x800 is. You have to make decisions, and it's like, okay, last week, I don't know if he was just trying to qualify, but
I think he's just trying to qualify in the 3200, but he didn't
right,
run the 4x8.
sure,
I wouldn't have him do that either.
yeah. So we'll see. But they're contenders without him. I mean, obviously, if he runs, they're much stronger, and they'll be
Hmm.
definitely a threat to win. Miracosta ran 7:41.30 last week. Redondo Union 7:42.87.
In the
Out
same
of
race,
right,
PR.
and yeah, the 4x8. So this is the fourth year they've had this race, and I mean, when you look at what's happened like in these 4 years, it's like, why haven't we had this race earlier? It's an incredible race. I
It's
mean,
a
so
great
much.
photo at the podium too, having all those
Yeah,
kids up there. It's just so
yeah,
fun.
yeah, and just so much. There's like so much place changes, and you
Hmm.
got somebody looking amazing first lap, and then just hanging on for dear life in the
Hmm.
last, 100. Last week at the NCS meet, you had Campolindo in third with like 100 to go. It looked like they were completely out of it, and they get to the state meet, basically at the finish line. So it's an incredible race. So Menlo. Um, they won the Central Coast section and they ran 7:46.26. And I would have to go back for the 1600. Henry Hauser looked amazing in the 4x8. He ran 4:10 last week. Um, he beat his older brother's time. I'm sure he hasn't beaten his dad's time yet.
Hmm.
But he looked great in the 4x8. So they'll be they'll be a threat to get onto the podium. So now the podium's top nine. Um, and Homestead was right behind them. And I already mentioned Campolindo. So Campolindo made it. They ran 750 this year, and Caden Airhorn wasn't able to run on the team last week because he was sick. But I'm sure he'll be back on the team,
Hmm.
and I think they'll have a chance to run in the low 740s.
Great. Now we get to, and this is really hard because I try to take a picture of the kids at the podium, but then the 3200 shows up. I'm like, oh,
Right.
okay, I got to leave. So I don't know if I pull off the boys' photo, but I get the girls' photo.
Yeah.
And we've got the girls 3200,
Right.
and yeah, it it's gonna be fun. We're gonna possibly get
Yeah.
maybe girls under 10.
It uh I don't know. I think whoever wins is going to run the low tens. So you have Kiara Daly ran 9:53:38 earlier. Um,
Like in a dual
Braylon,
meet, I think.
huh?
I think in a dual meet.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it was like a dual meet in March, 9:53:38, and I'm,
Mhm.
unless there was, a lot of times they combine the 3200s and
Yeah,
there's boys in the race, but she ran that. Braylon Combe also had a really fast time, but obviously not in this race. Amaya Bharadwaj of Palo Alto ran 10:01:93 at Arcadia, which is the CCS record now. Summer Wilson, who I believe she had a late start to her
she
season.
did a very late start. I never saw her in races. She started doing dual meets and league meets, and is slowly and surely, not slowly, but she's quickly actually getting in shape.
Right,
She could be in the mix there.
right. And she ran 9:56:59 on January 17th.
Right.
And then she
The
had like
2 mile.
yeah, so she's definitely and she ran 10:14 at the Southern section meet. So and Amaya ran I think like 10:10 and it was solo effort. So yeah, two solo efforts.
Yes, Summer was by herself too. Hmm.
Yeah, and I mean we'll see how much Kiara has left, after the
Right.
two 1600s. And then Alyssa Gutierrez of St. Francis in Sacramento, she ran 10:18:86, so she's just running that. You Unfortunately, Jalen Williams, I think she's been injured.
Yeah, we didn't see her this year.
Yeah, well, she ran 4:38 in an indoor mile at Melrose, so she was in really good shape.
Yeah.
She won the state meet as a sophomore. Brooke Oliveira of Castellea, she was CCS champion in the 1600, ran 4:47:57, but she scratched that to focus on this. So she ran 10:30 at Arcadia and can definitely run faster. And you have Eliana Patterson, who ran a 10:14 60 at a league meet and was second to Daly in the San Diego section. So I think those are the top contenders.
Yeah. Eliana Patterson is just one tough athlete, so don't be surprised if she's in there and stays in there. So
Yeah.
she ran an incredible race at Arcadia. The boys' race is interesting. Maximo, that's to see the double. Let's see if he can pull it off.
Right. So he has the fastest time in California this year. He ran 8:43:21. Um, uh, I think Cooper Stream. So he ran 8:50 at Arcadia, and he won the Sac Joaquin section in 1600, but scratched that. He was also Division II state champion cross country, so he's definitely a threat in the 3200. Um, and then Aiden Antonio of Woodbridge. He won the Southern Section Masters meet last week, ran 8:55.
Doing the double also, 16 and 32.
Right. So that's tough. It's
Hmm.
we'll see, and we all know who the greatest double ever. Like,
Yeah, we
yeah,
do.
I was looking at
You're
the
talking about Hannah Thompson, aren't you? No, I'm just
yeah,
kidding. But Hannah Thompson had a nice double last year.
Yeah, I mean, amazing. She holds, she's the record holder in the 3200 at state, ran 9:48.98, and then chased, Braylon last year. So that was incredible.
4:35. Yeah, that was an incredible double. But you're talking about, of course, our friend German Fernandez,
Right.
and his incredible double and a very hot, hot, hot
Yeah.
Saturday. Yeah.
So Cooper Stream, Mario Montoya of Redondo Union ran 8:51 at Arcadia. Ollie O'Connor of Viewpoint Division 5 school ran 8:54.21 at Arcadia. Michael Scaranese of South Pasadena ran 8:56.37. And then kind of a wild card, Ryan Fitzpatrick
Had a
of
great race last weekend.
right. So what's interesting with him is he ran his best time at CCS, ran 9:02.61, but he ran 4:10.37 in the 1600. He scratched the 16 and will just be running the 3200
Okay.
at state. So this is definitely his opportunity to break nine for the first time, and he's really tough. And he will definitely be up. Whoever will be leading the race, he'll be in that pack.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, it'll be really fun to see. We've been talking about athletes doubling and tripling, like, well, Braylon's tripling, but other kids are doubling. And, these kids are so incredibly fit.
Yeah.
Maxima will probably be fine. Last year, Hannah Thompson was fine. She did fine, running an
Well,
incredible 3200 after her really, it was really hot last year and running
last
her.
year was, I remember driving to the meet and looking at the van and looking at the temperature. It said 110.
Yeah,
And it was interesting. It was really hot, but it wasn't humid. So
no,
it was very bearable. And you see the times last year's state meet. It didn't affect times
no,
at all. Obviously this year it'll be much nicer.
very nice.
And so that'll be and I thought for sure last year they were gonna like move the meet back and
They
the
didn't. I was kept waiting for, yeah, I was at like the hotel, like, I'm going to show up at 7 or something. They didn't do
yeah.
that at all. They just kept
And they
going.
stuck with the time schedule. So yeah, it's like I said, it should be a great meet. It's always interesting. There's, usually you got people coming back and trying to defend
Hmm.
but yeah, the boys 800 will definitely be,
Oh boy.
yeah. I
Even the
mean,
prelims on Friday could be interesting.
that's yeah. So in the 800 you have three heats. And the top three advance to the final in each heat, plus the next three fastest time of any of the heats. So if you could be one of the contenders, and all of a sudden you are,
Get leaned out for fourth.
then you're in danger of not making the finals. So
Could
it's
happen. That's pretty
you have
deep. So
to, yeah. Last year. You had the same situation in the 1600 because so many boys made the at-large mark that they had to have three heats in the 1600, and so it was the same thing. Only the top three advanced and next three fastest times. So it's you cannot go in there and go like, oh, I'm just going to qualify to
yeah,
the
I'll just look
final.
around and do a qualifying race.
Yeah,
It's going to be hard.
yeah, I mean, you get boxed in.
Hmm.
You have to be super alert, and you almost have to treat the trials like the final because, if you don't get to the final, it doesn't really matter.
I
So,
can't score in the prelims. So,
yep,
well, Coach, I sure appreciate you coming on and giving us your insight and looking forward to the meet. I will be there and happy that it's going to be in the 80s, which is going to
yeah,
be nice. Guy from Portland, it's nice to have cooler weather. So, appreciate you coming on and giving us your insight all season two, and we'll look forward to hearing from you in the future, especially during cross country season. So
yeah,
thanks a lot,
and
Coach.
yeah, and best of luck to all the competitors this weekend. Should be a great. If anybody has never been to the California State meet, like go and watch this. It's amazing.
It's amazing. It's not just the distance races, but all everything is
Right.
happening. It's amazing. Field events, the discus in the back of the track. Go check that out.
Yeah.
Behind the track, I should say, not back of the track. It's a great weekend. So I'll look forward to seeing all those events and get pictures to you. Coach, thanks a lot for coming on.
All right.
Well, that was an epic episode. State meet, Washington, Oregon, and California, all three states, with a compelling story in different races. athletes are running so fast, and they get to have matchups that are going to be super memorable this weekend. I want to thank our guests, Matt Ellis of Bellarmine Prep High School in Tacoma, for talking about Washington, Thor Esbensen of Ida B. Wells talking about Oregon, and Albert Caruana coaching at San Mateo High School talking about the California State Meet. The plan is this. This weekend, if you listened to the Washington part, I'm going to leave school early. I'm a teacher. I'm going to leave school a little early and zip over to Tacoma. It's about 2.5 hours. Well, traffic-wise, maybe longer. 2.5 hours from Beaverton, Oregon. I'll be there for the 1600. You can check Friday for the 1600 meter galleries. Russell Moore will be there also on Thursday. He'll be there Friday and Saturday. He'll have a better and more, more pictures on his gallery. So check out Russell Moore's gallery afterwards. He'll be there for the 3200 and the 800 on Saturday for sure. Then I get on a plane Friday morning to Fresno, California. I'll be there for the prelims, take pictures of the 16 and the 8, have those up as soon as I can on Saturday, and then I'll be there for all the great distance races on Saturday. I'm also taking pictures for Dystat, so I'll have photos of field event and sprinters and hurdlers too at the California State Meet. That doesn't include Oregon. I didn't mention Oregon, the state that I live in. My daughter Anna and my wife Diane will be going on Saturday to take pictures, drive from here to Eugene. My wife will go on Friday. She recently retired from work and she is available on Friday. What a superhero. She's going to drive 2 hours early in the morning because the first race is at 9, I believe, on Friday morning. She'll do the 3000, and we'll also, my daughter Anna and Diane will be there on Saturday to take pictures. So they might have more than, both have cameras, so they might have more angles there. We'll see. And so look for those photos as soon as we can. Maybe on Sunday, we'll see. I'll be working on the pictures for California too. So it's a family operation. We're doing our best. If you can follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, that'd be great. If you can, please subscribe to YouTube. It really supports us. We haven't gotten to the point where we have any monetary support from YouTube, but we're getting there soon. So please help us. That would be great. Because Tacoma, Eugene, and Fresno are all part of the West Coast. And the West Coast is the best coast. What an exciting weekend we're going to have. We'll see you next time.